Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 921 of the Dum Yinzers. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Wherever you may be, maybe good morning and maybe good afternoon, wherever you're at. Welcome back to the show. Michael, what's up, brother?
What up? It's Friday, man.
It is Friday. It is just, this is the only work day left between all the free agent frenzy that's going to kick off next week. Mike, I can't wait. A lot of things going on. People seem to be on the move already. Things seem to be happening already. And we just might have some more inside scoop for you. We're going to get to all that today. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the two Dum Yinzers, guys. It's Friday. Be excited. Mike, a couple things before we do get rolling. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Penguins, for the first time in a long time, in recent history, have both took a loss yesterday. The Pirates, Mike, they lost 3-2 to the Cardinals, falling to 10-3 overall in the Grapefruit League. Today, they are playing a split schedule. They have the Philadelphia Phillies at 105, and they also have the Blue Jays at 107. And then over the weekend, they play the Tigers and the Red Sox, both 105 games over the weekend. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they fall to the Sabres 5-1, putting the Penguins in a 2-game losing streak. An area that's a bit unfamiliar to this year's Penguins, Mike, as they drop to 31-17 and 13 overall, but they'll get a chance to make it back tomorrow and Sunday, because tomorrow they will be hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. That game is at 5:30, and then Sunday they'll also be hosting the Boston Bruins, which is a 4:30 start. So this gives the Penguins an opportunity to get back in the winning column and get back to what they were doing. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Mike. This really feels a lot like 1992 to me. And the reason why it feels like 1992 is because you were optimistic. You knew the Pirates were going to be good, and I truly have a feeling that the Pirates are going to be a good team this year. Also, the Penguins, they were winning Stanley Cups. This Penguins team feels a lot better than they've been over the past few years, looking like they're going to be able to make some noise in the playoffs. And the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a new head coach, also as they did in 1992, and people were beginning to feel hopeful for their Pittsburgh Steelers team after a stale ending to the Chuck Noll era. Like, to me, this feels similar, not exactly alike, it's similar to 1992 because, again, just the overall optimism for our sports teams here in Pittsburgh, from top to bottom. Mike talking about the Penguins, the Pirates, and the Steelers, and also, Mike, we didn't have back then. We didn't have the Riverhounds. However, I'm feeling really good about these Pittsburgh teams this year, Mike. I'll be surprised. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be surprised if none of these three teams do well in the playoffs. And we do have a bet here on the show, which we talk about often. So, again, I'm excited, and this will, along with all the things going off in the Steeler offseason, will certainly keep us occupied as we wait for the arrival of the NFL football season of 2026. So again, Mike, I'm feeling optimistic. I'm not holding my breath on any pit teams at this moment because, again, pit teams do what pit teams do.
Yeah.
But our professional teams here in Pittsburgh, teams that wear black and gold on the regular, are a bit exciting for people in Pittsburgh.
They are. And, man, it would be nice to have truly competitive teams in all three major sports leagues that we host here in Pittsburgh. My God, there's nothing more than we love than a winner. We love our teams, but we will show you our displeasure by not showing up. And we will reward you for putting out a damn good product. I mean, look at the Pirates; they are the best example. That little 3-year window that they had, the Cueto game and all that shit. That place was packed. We flock to this shit. Penguins see it, when they are riding high, ripping off Stanley Cups, ripping off like just playoff appearances and dominance in the playoffs. The Civic or the Mellon Arena or whatever it's called now, the PBG Paints, it's rocking and rolling. Same thing at Heinz Field, man. So if these owners, put their money where their mouth is, man, this year should be a fun year for the Yinzer Nation.
And I got to be honest with you, if you didn't ever follow the inside of sports, the inside track, what goes on behind closed doors, and you're from Pittsburgh, you learned a lot recently, Mike, about how valuable the GM's job really is. And until this recent slump with all of our sports, neither the Penguins, the Pirates, the Steelers, anybody won a playoff game within, the last 7 to 8 years. People are starting to learn more because usually, we keep things going here in the Berg. And with playoffs is usually not any success in the playoffs is never any surprise. So people are learning a lot about the behind the door stuff, the things that necessary to have a successful season. And it isn't always the talent that you have out there.
Yeah.
There has to be a starting point with the GMs. Mike, again, Pittsburgh folks learning lots and lots about what the GMs do because they are the three big names in town this year. It's not these superstars. It is the Omar Khans. It is the Ben Charringtons. It is the what's the guy over
Kyle Dubas.
Dubas. So again, not the worst thing in the world, man. We could the Steeler Nation gets educated a little bit, and while things start to improve, it's going to be great. A lot of things going on today, guys. I want to say good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to the show. Let me jump on the board bright and early today. What's up, everybody? I'm going to start with Tortilla. I want to say, Tortilla, big thank you, my friend. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. It's going to go right back into the show. As a matter of fact, it's going right in Mike's computer. So if you don't hear any whistling anymore, which you don't, you could assure that that's going to be going towards that. So again, thank you. Great thank you to Tortilla Jackson from Sacramento, California. My man, always love to see him on the terrible board. Somber, what's up, brother? Always great seeing you, sir. Mike has the link up for the vertical shot. As you noticed that it was the vertical shot is available today. We're trying it out again. Mike is he's trying to convince me, and I'm going to be honest, Mike. Every day I'm getting a little bit more convinced. I don't hate it as much as I did on Monday.
I know the other day yesterday after the show, we got off air. You're like, hey, where's the other stream? I'm like, I took it down. You you were flustered that we had 2 horizontals. You were
I
flustered
was
when we had the
flustered because they
vertical.
weren't working correctly. That's why I was flustered.
But like I was like, hey man, I'm giving you a break. I'm gonna give you a break. But you're like, no. I'm getting used to this. Well, let's keep it going. So you know me, man. I aim to please. That's you wanted both. I got you both, brother.
I think I have something for that, Mike. Hold on.
Oh God.
Oh, hell no.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me get back on the board. Somber says 30 visits rolling in. Sweet. What's up, Somber? Always great seeing you, brother. Hope things are going well for you. Tortilla says if you get blackout drunk at the right time Monday, it's only like 12 hours away. I like to think.
I don't want Monday to come, Tortilla. That's the problem.
You don't want Monday to come?
No, because that's one day closer to work for me.
Who cares?
This
is football. Like, nobody cares about work.
I know, but I'm sorry.
I don't think you do. I
took a selfish moment for myself.
I have to re-educate you.
Oh, sweet. Is there a happy fun camp we can go to?
Tortilla says Mike is blushing thinking about Tater right now. Don't we all? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. A lot of things to get into, and I do want to include this, Mike. The Riverhounds are back in action tomorrow as they travel to play the Charleston Battery, our soccer team right here in Pittsburgh. That is a 6 o'clock start tomorrow. So a few things outside of the Steelers. This is something that I found interesting. Max Crosby and the Dallas Cowboys were this close, or at least Dallas thought they were. Dallas and Max Crosby were working on a deal until Dallas found out that they want multiple first-round picks for Max Crosby, and other teams then jumped into the game, pushing Dallas back out, not looking like Max Crosby is going to Dallas. Mike, after Micah Parsons left Dallas last year, it certainly left a void in the defense of the Dallas Cowboys. And this close, they thought they were to bringing in Max Crosby, of course, from the Raiders. Then the Raiders kind of started throwing in some details, and all of a sudden, Dallas backs out. More people back in on that deal, Mike, as they are looking for multiple first rounds for Max Crosby.
We have an edge rusher available.
Yes, we do.
That's in the same conversation as Max Crosby and as Micah Parsons. He can be had for a third rounder. You eat the cap space and we go. We're all here for it. You can take TJ Watt off our hands.
Also, Mike, this might be news to some of the Ty Simpson light lovers here in Pittsburgh. The Cleveland Browns are now speaking to Ty Simpson. Very interesting, Mike. They're signaling that it is their strongest interest yet.
Wow.
Of course, Ty Simpson. And something tells me the Cleveland Browns said, the Steeler fans want Ty Simpson. Let's go get it. Just because this is the way that Cleveland, they have that little brother syndrome where they constantly just have to, to poke and peck. And again, at the end of the day, you're just a little brother. But Mike, something just tells me, just as goofy as they are, they probably see that some people in Pittsburgh like the idea of him. And now they're talking to him because, again, they don't do anything.
No.
Of original nature in Cleveland. It's all based off of what we do here in Pittsburgh. And another thing I do want to say, Mike, we were talking about Tater the other day about the Browns haven't winning the division since the late 80s. Or you could look at it this way. The current Browns have never won the division.
Exactly.
I mean, this isn't even the same Browns team that did do well in the 80s, Mike. This is a totally different team. And since 1999, this team has never won the division. So I think I'm going to stick with that narrative when Tater comes on talking his shit, because again, at the end of the day, that sounds a little worse, don't I?
It does.
Sounds bad. You haven't won it since '88, but the other one, you have never won it.
You've never won it. Yeah. Haven't even come close to winning it. And I think that's great. Ty Simpson. I also saw that the Jets were thinking about him too. Again, I feel bad for some of these quarterbacks that get drafted to like the Browns, the Jets, like Cam Ward getting drafted to the Titans last year. Like, your first 4 to 5 years of your career are going to be wasted. Then you're going to have to go somewhere else and be a reclamation project. So finally, by year 7, you're playing at your best, when you should have been probably playing at that level 3 years previous, but you've gone to a shit organization. As long as they go to one of our rivals, like Cleveland, I'm okay with that, watching them fail, because that's going to help us out. and then they can go be better later on. But my God, these quarterbacks are going to get screwed.
Is there anybody?
Browns
Let me ask you this: is there any quarterbacks that you don't want? Because we could start pumping them up like we do want them, and then Cleveland will swoop in and grab them.
Oh, Drew Aller, Ty Simpson, great quarterbacks. You guys want to draft them.
That team is going to have 53 quarterbacks when it's all said and done. It's unbelievable what's going on up there in Cleveland. You should see what's going on up there.
Well, apparently they're restructuring Watson's contract to free up some cap space for this year.
Yeah. And finally, Mike, outside of the Pittsburgh organization, but having to do somewhat with the Steelers, the Arizona Cardinals are hiring former Steeler defensive coordinator Terrell Austin as the senior defense assistant. Mike, they must have seen how great things were going with our defense. Said we must have Terrell Austin. I'm sorry. On this team and have him overlooking our defense, Mike. Terrell Austin on his way to Arizona.
Hey, he's no longer our problem, baby.
That's true. Welcome back, everybody. Let me stay up on the board.
The defense better not take a step back this year. That's all I'm saying.
I know. Watch them have a better defense.
You know, right?
All right, let's get at it. Let me get back on the board here for a little bit, guys. I don't want to miss anybody today. This is Friday, heading into the weekend before free agency frenzy kicks off next week, Mike. Next week is the big week everybody's waiting for. And the new Pittsburgh Steelers, the team of 2026, is going to start taking shape beginning next week. Depending on who we gain, who we lose, whatever the case may be, it's going to start taking shape and show us some signs of what we could expect the following month, Mike, when we have the draft here in just 48 days on how we might tackle that, if you will. Let me get on the board. Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see everybody today. Hope everybody's having a great Friday and ready for the weekend. I know I sure am. Danny Boiling, what's up, brother? He says, hello, guys. Ready to get things rolling? You know what? So am I, man. I really am. Good morning. Good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome. Glad to have you on the board. Somber says Eagles want a multiple for A.J. Brown, too. LOL. I try. Absolutely. I was reading that, too. And it's no surprise. You know what I mean? Anybody that didn't think that could have been a possibility. He is all that. Could you imagine Mike, A.J. Brown, and DK Metcalf both being on the same field at the same time? I don't think the quarterbacks will be saying that we don't have any targets at that point.
Exactly, man. And those two were running mates back in the day down at Ole Miss.
Yes, they sure were.
So I would be down for it, but I think, the price is way, way too high.
Let's go to right here. I'm going to go to Danny again. Danny says, can't wait for the draft, brother. Me neither. We're just 48 days away. 149 days away from the first preseason game also, guys. So it's not going to be that long. And again, if you're a Pittsburgh overall sports fan, you have a little bit of an ease this year with some of our other teams looking good as well. So I know for myself personally, this offseason, it's going to fly. Let's go to Tortilla. He says, yeah, I'm good on AJ. Vegas, what's good, dude? He says, what's good, fellas? Always great seeing Vegas from Vegas, my man. I hope things are going well. And I always just imagine Vegas being so damn nice and hot and the weather-wise, Mike. But you know what? We are building our weather back up here as well, as it's going to be roughly 60 degrees over the next few days. And beginning of next week, it's going to be in the 70s, the low 70s here in Pittsburgh. So this maybe, Mike, is the weather's taking a turn in the right direction finally.
I can't wait. Weather starts getting nice. Then next thing you know, man, it gets really nice. And then the pads start popping up at Latrobe, boys. And I can't wait.
Vegas has 57 and windy. That's about what it is here. So if you're wondering how it feels in the Berg, step outside, I'm guessing. Vegas also says this. They had a guy to make the cover of Madden. They did. They sure did. Peyton Hillis.
We had a couple. We had Troy. We had
wasn't Troy was on with Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and AB was on.
And also, Bill Cowher was on the NFL coach game.
Yeah.
So we had a few. We had a few as well. Danny says, I'm sorry, let me scoot down a little bit. I don't want to miss Tortilla here. Tortilla says, Tater Simpson. Tater Simpson. I like it. I do like that. Also, let me go right here to Danny. He says, I like Drew Aller more than Simpson. You know what? I tend to as well. But I'm not even big on Drew Aller. And it's not even because he's a Penn State guy. There's just been nothing that I'm really impressed by. I wish that there was, and I would be an honest person with you. And if I thought that, I actually literally wanted him here, but there's nothing from any of these guys that I really love, Mike, at the end of the day.
Now, like Drew Aller, like he's right out of central casting. If you want, hey, I need a someone to look like a quarterback, play quarterback. That would be Drew Aller, but he is way, way too consistent for me. But hopefully, if he gets drafted, he goes somewhere to where, he can sit for a few years and sit behind a good veteran quarterback and sit with and learn with a good quarterback coach and to maximize his ability. Because like I said, when he's on, he looks pretty good. But I just don't think he has it upstairs to be consistently good and to consistently beat the better teams. We saw that in college. He had some tough games against the bigger the game, the more the mistakes would happen in crunch time. Like Oregon, he back and forth in overtime, and then throws the a game stealing interception. Indiana driving back and forth just couldn't get it done. I don't know if it's a mental block with him or was it a coaching thing and a talent thing around him. I don't know. I hope he succeeds in the NFL, but I don't want the Steelers to take a chance on him.
I was thinking about quarterbacks that just weren't that good last night. We made the comment the other day that there's only about, and we've been pretty consistent with this take, Mike. Yeah. There's only about good 5 elite quarterbacks on the planet at one time. It seems there's never ever really any more. And then there's always that class of guys that are right behind them. They're good, but there's just something about them that you can never get it done. And then of course there's the schlubs. But at the I was thinking about this. People said the other day, well, why don't if we were in with Mason Rudolph, here's my thinking. For example, think of the Bears game when we needed that 4th down at the very end of the game, and Mason Rudolph ended up throwing the ball, and it ended. What happened was I can't remember if it was a bubble screen or whatever was going on the left-hand side. The receiver was out there, and Mason threw the ball as the coverage was coming in on the guy, and he had to throw it short, which was a play that, Mike, it shows you the separation between the elites and the people in the middle, because Aaron Rodgers would have read that guy coming in on him, and he certainly wouldn't have short-armed it out there at that position. He would have either done one of two things: let the receiver adjust and then threw it in another area, or found another receiver. So again, to have them eyes of an elite quarterback in the league, in the brain and the mind of the elite quarterbacks in the league, that is such a hard thing to get. But once you have it, boy, do not let it go. And again, Aaron Rodgers still has the mind of an elite quarterback, yet being 43 years old, he's human. All the other parts and pieces still aren't intact as they have been through a lot of his career, Mike. But that mind, I think, is worth having sometimes. And again, that mind won us football games last year that we probably wouldn't have won had we not gone the route that we did with Aaron Rodgers. But again, if you just look at that one play, and again, yes, it is it's mixing Mason Rudolph up with Aaron Rodgers, which isn't fair. But I thought that was a good example to show you what somebody who really knows what they're looking at would do, opposed to somebody who don't quite have that elite mindset as a quarterback, Mike. And that was the perfect example, because that was the play of the game. You needed to convert that. We didn't convert it. We ended up losing to the Bears in that game. So again, Aaron Rodgers may have had a different result with that. But again, that's the difference between somebody with the elite quarterback mind and somebody who doesn't.
Yeah, that's in that situation, to keep going with that discussion, you would see like someone like Patrick Mahomes or
absolutely
Stafford change the the launch angle to try and get the ball
they
around.
See things that everybody else don't.
Like Mason and quarterbacks, they can do that stuff, but consistently and in those types of moments, that's where they wane away, and that's what separates a starting quarterback from a career backup. And it's just. That's how I see a lot of these quarterbacks coming out in this draft. I see them as long-term projects and potential just backups for a while, man. I don't see any really high-end quarterbacks in this draft. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before on quarterbacks, been wrong on a lot of guys, but I just don't see it. And I think Mendoza might even be a stretch to be considered a top 10 quarterback in the league at some point.
Again, Mike,
I think he'll be a good quarterback. I just don't know if he's going to take it up to that level.
There's a checklist that you must check to be one of those top quarterbacks, and it includes everything.
Yep.
It's not just a strong arm. It's not just to be elusive. It's not just to there's a mind that those 5 quarterbacks, as I said, that usually seem to only be about 5 of them on this earth at any given time that are considered elite quarterbacks. They see those things that everybody else doesn't see. And again, just seeing what Aaron Rodgers was able to do and see last year, managed to get him 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 10-7 record on a team that looked like there was a disaster happening every minute. So again, you have a guy that has that. That's a step in the bigger. What did G.I. Joe used to say? Knowing is half the battle. You remember at the end of every show, the guy would get on there and say, knowing is half the battle. And you know what? The mind, very, very powerful. And again, what did Tom Brady? Come on, the guy was a freaking genius in his head.
Yeah.
Peyton, man, these aren't dumb guys. These are guys, Mike, that are very well trained, very seasoned. And again, they see things that most other quarterbacks don't see. That's why there are only 5 of these guys on the planet out of 7 point some billion people at any given time.
Yeah. And what's wild is, too, you look at, there's usually about those 5 that are elite. And then you start doing the math, that number becomes even more impressive once you realize there's really not 32 capable true NFL starters in the league. So that number becomes even more impressive that there's that many guys in the league.
Look at who they are. I mean, during the Brady, Manning, and Ben era, they were representing the AFC every year. There was not a year that those 3 guys had it. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Mike, there's 29 other teams out there. Why was nobody else in the AFC getting to that level?
Yeah.
And then even a lot of the times when the AFC was winning the Super Bowl, you'd say, well, this guy from the NFC, I mean, he doesn't have that. But you see the difference. Again, people, yes, everything isn't 100 proof, but somebody's going to jump in and say, but Ryan, listen, between that time period when all 3 of them guys were in there, there's no question that they are elite quarterbacks. And they went down in history with their numbers to show you that. It shows you what happens, how the league works. And again, if you don't have that mind under center, Mike, you're not going to have the success that everybody else has. Patrick Holmes is a wonderful example of that. He can make 53 things happen in the course of one play. Yeah. And again, other guys like Mason Rudolph and people that this guy's good enough, he can step in. They don't possess that.
Yeah.
And of course, they're not going to get the same results because if something happens, they play into it or play into the defense. There's only so many guys that look out there and see 53 options across that field on one particular play. Obviously exaggerating because I'm probably going to get drilled for that. There's 53. I don't know what they are. Right. I'm just saying that they're really good and they make it happen. And if their guys are covered, you know what? They manage to make a gain out of the play one way or another, whether they decide to scoot it down the field, whether they decide to find something else in coverage. So again, we're looking overall, you're looking for that guy. And again, we found him in Ben, and that's what we were looking for until Ben. And then when Ben was here about 10 years on, I said, guys, there's going to be life after Ben, and you aren't going to recognize this football team because I lived, and as a lot of people did, before the career of Ben. And we've been through that, and you've seen that difference. Neil O'Donnell was good. He got us to the Super Bowl. Cordell Stewart was good. He put up good numbers over his tenure here. But there's a certain kind of person that gets the championship, gets the job done, and we are on the hunt to find him. If you don't think Ty Simpson is him, I'm not. Listen, I'm not even going to entertain it. Drew Allure is that the guy? Is that the guy that can see the field, Mike, and can make things happen when there's nothing else happening? I don't think so. So I think ultimately by the Steelers doing what they're doing, waiting till next year's draft, which is a bummer because a lot of us wanted to see a quarterback this year in Pittsburgh during the draft. I think it's a smart move that they're making, Mike, which I believe they're going to make ultimately to wait till next season to try to get that guy. I don't know if that guy exists coming out of the draft this year. Again, like you said, Fernando Mendoza, he may or may not be the guy. He looked great in college. But again, at the end of the day, those are some attributes that I personally look for. Yeah. Again, because I lived through the different eras, and I've seen that play out over time. And that's how I form my opinion on that. So again, if I don't see Ty Simpson being that guy. Yes, he's out of a good school. Yes, they did good. Penn State, blah, 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 blah.
He was like Haller, failed against the better teams in the big situations.
Right.
I just none of these guys really impressed me. I was hoping like this was the year we're going to see a lot of good quarterback play. Quarterbacks are going to come back to the fold to be a deep class, and it's did not pan out the way we all hoped and thought it would.
And maybe the term, as Mark Miller just put up there, Ty Simpson is definitely not him. You got to.
He is not him. No,
you have to find him. Yeah. And that's very relatable. I mean, you could use that term, Mike. He's not him. He's not him. Yeah. He's not him. There's only so many hims out there. So maybe we're being a little hard on the organization, Mike, who is making this decision to prolong this a little further to try to get him instead of, you know what I mean? Again,
until you get him. I don't want to. The way I'm going to say it's going to sound stupid, like good enough. If you can't get him, you get good enough. And what I mean by good enough is you get a quarterback who's good enough to run your offense, play smart football, make the big plays, minimize your risk. and get the ball out to your skill players on offense and let them do the job. Just let him be a little point guard. He doesn't have to be the conductor. He just has to be the facilitator.
And in
Get
the
the
big
ball where it
picture,
needs to go and play smart. And then you allow your defense to go. It's kind of like what we've been doing, but we just haven't had the success with it because the guys we've had back there weren't good enough to be the guy who was just good enough.
and all the in the big picture, and then there's all the other teams that do have that guy that you're talking about right now. These are the teams that are going to make it to the AFC Championship,
Yeah.
but not get it done. They're
Yeah.
going to be the teams that compete, stay in a good race, but not get it done. Or these are the teams that might slip into the Super Bowl, but not be able to win it. And that kind of falls into that. Yeah.
Or kind of win it with Jalen Hurts, because I don't put him in that elite category. I put him in that good enough category to
Right.
get you there and do the smart thing. So if you find one of those guys, it can work out. But I think you have much better success having a true, legitimate top 5, top 7 quarterback in the
And I
league.
think that most people agree in that situation, Mike, it worked out for Jalen because they had a hell of a good team. They built a really nice. How many drafts went by, Mike, where they had players I thought, what? How did they get him? Cooper DeJean and who's the guy out of Georgia, the defensive lineman that got in trouble that I
Yeah.
like.
Well, that's about every guy out of
No,
Georgia.
you know what I'm talking
Jalen
about.
Carter, yeah.
Jalen Carter. Every time I turned around, like they were drafting somebody else that I would have loved to have. And it was like, how are you in the position to continue to draft the way that you do? Philadelphia built a nice team. It doesn't even surprise me that Jalen Hurts was able to win the Super Bowl, Mike. And again, as you said, for the most part, there's a lot of pieces in place there. On top of those draft picks, bringing in guys like Saquon Barkley and having A.J. Brown and Devontae. I mean, come on. It's truly incredible what they were able to do with Philadelphia, and that's why I got to give them props. Although I don't like that smelly city, got to give them props on the way they built that football team.
Yeah, and hopefully, that's kind of hopefully what we can do as well. There, you get talent on that offense, and then have someone who's good enough and who can rise to the occasion when needed.
Absolutely. Let's get back on the board, Mike. I don't want to leave anybody out today. Today is Friday. No reason not to be in a good mood because when we come back, everybody, next week, it's going to be time. Next week is free agent frenzy starting on Monday with a tampering period at noon and then officially kicking off the new NFL year, like at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. And that's the official start of free agency. A lot of things going on. People are on the move as of now. We have rumors and we also have some educated guesses on some things as well, Mike. And we're going to give you all that scoop here shortly. But don't let me get too far off. I want to start back on the board right here, right where Tortilla says this: Colin should heavily pursue Watts and start the conversation with the first round picks and never pull the trigger. Browns will start him. We want Watson so bad, and watch them. They're like dogs. They will follow along and follow suit, and like the dogs that they are. And they will probably love the idea, and they'll be starting Deshaun Watson next year. A guy who hasn't played football in years.
Dude, some Browns fans are going to hear us talking about this, and they're going to go, "Oh my God, Pittsburgh fans are thinking they're going to get Deshaun Watson."
Mark Malone, he says this: hell, Cleveland actually only has 3 quarterbacks under control. Of course, they all suck. It is Cleveland. Wes Hatchett, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Wes back on the board. My man, how's it been? He says, I don't even recognize this organization anymore. It is unrecognizable at this point. This is, again, 1992 to me all over again. As life generally goes through cycles, Mike, this feels a lot like 92. Penguins looking good, Pirates looking good, and the Steelers with a brand new head coach, hoping that things can get better for the squad as it did back then, Mike. And again, coming off of the Chuck Noll era, it was stale. And we're getting that change, a new coach, a hometown guy, very, very similar in ways to me to the 1992, Mike. And that was a good era in Pittsburgh sports. The next few years were awesome as well. So I will take that. Also, Vegas says this: Cowboys traded 2 firsts for Roy Williams, 2 firsts for wide receiver Roy Williams. Tortilla, heyo, what's up, brother? Always great to see my man Tortilla. Vegas 57 and windy right now. That's about what it is here today. I think we're gonna get up in the 60s and then again in the 70s next week in the Berg. So I think it's gonna be nice, Mike, when people come to town for the draft here in 48 days.
I can't wait. Hopefully, we get to meet up with some of the guys down here.
I think that we're going to meet up with a lot of people. It's going to be a blast. Sommer says Dolphins cut their kicker and fullback, cleaning house. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, Alec Ingold, baby.
Vegas says winter was 10 degrees above normal this year. See, ours was worse this year. With the as far as the inches of snow and the weather, it was.
I swear, I think we're gonna go next winter. We're gonna go hang out with Vegas.
I think so too. And the thing was, it was really cold. It was really cold here, so I'd say it was below, Mike. And it's been mild the past couple of years in the winter, so we kind of got it this year. Corey, what's up, dude? He says, "What's up, guys? Day 6,455 of wide receiver 2 watch." However, I do know this, Mike. It is day 3,001 since Jesse James caught that ball against New England. Mike, I have that guy like most people do on X, and every day he updates it. It's been this many days since Jesse James caught that ball. Mike, yesterday was 3,000 days since Jesse James caught that ball against New England. They said it was incomplete. 3,001 days.
And we are still trying to figure out what the fuck a catch is in the NFL.
You ain't shitting, right? They're still telling us in this offseason that catches didn't count, and they did count. That happened last year. So this is an ongoing thing. Let's get to Vegas right here, where he says they have that Madden cover proudly displayed like at the Lombardi.
Yes, they do.
And Peyton Hillis wasn't even there that long. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
No, it only felt like 3 years, and he really only had like what 1.5 good years.
It wasn't like it was this career Brown or anything like Troy Polamalu when he was on. He was a Steeler through and through. Peyton Hillis had 2 good seasons at that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Next on the board, Derpy says, "I wouldn't mind Aller over Simpson, but in the second or maybe third round." Let's go to Derpy again. Derpy says, "But I would wait till next year personally." Tortilla says this: "Our quarterback of the future is quite literally stuck in the future." Fuck. Basically is. Let's go to Tortilla. Also, he follows it up by saying, "I'll ask my neighbor if he's free, maybe he can play quarterback. If he's free, he can play quarterback, maybe."
Oh yeah. We're gonna give Uncle Rico a call.
Hey, we're going to be fighting with the Jets and the Raiders for him. I know that. Probably Cleveland as well. Cleveland just heard we wanted Uncle Rico. They just started the process of pursuing him as we speak.
Geno Smith is available. He just got cut.
He was only the 32nd best quarterback, or only quarterback the 32nd best team last year, right? But again,
he could fit in here with this, cast of misfit toys.
Let's go to Vegas. Vegas says take a shot on the green, like in the 5th. Also, Goody Goose, I want to say welcome to the show. Goody Goose, welcome to the terrible board. He says, "Good day, guys." He says the Steelers should draft Zachariah Branch and trade for Michael Pittman Jr. to save the wide receiver room. Resign Isaac Seumalo, and that offensive line will thrive. Thank you for the comment, man. Welcome to the show, Goody Goose. 7725. Also, Vegas says Branch went to Bishop Gorman here in Vegas. Nice. Follows it up by saying won the states in 100, 200, and also long jump too. Pretty talented person. No two ways about that.
Yeah, but I think he's another one of those tiny guys.
Oh, really?
Like underweight kind of guys.
Why is everybody so undersized anymore? Let's go right here. Vegas says Tyler Perry greater than Ty Simpson. Let's throw Tyler Perry back there. Why not? Medea throws the ball. Mark Malone says Ty Simpson is definitely not him. Mark Malone says Beck has an eye for the field.
For the fields.
Yeah.
He's looking at the 2 different fields, man. I don't trust those beady little eyes.
He does.
They're so far apart.
Fish-eyed fool. He can see both sidelines at the same time.
Okay, Fred Stanford.
Loud Harley, welcome back to the show. Great to see you on a terrible board. Loud says this Ty Simpson played against 4 good teams and lost to all of them. That's what I'm saying. I mean, on that squad, you shouldn't. I don't know. I'm not in on the Ty Simpson at all. To be honest with you, it's almost like right now people have to find a name to throw in there because we don't have the quarterback situation figured out. But as I said, zoom out a little bit and look at the situation, and we might be able to get a guy that has that mind also. In next year's draft, there's a handful of guys that are coming out that seem head and shoulders better than what's coming out this year. Let's go to RB. What's up, brother? The newest guy on the cast, RB, jumps in and says Branch is like 175 pounds. We've had enough of the pre-pubescent boys. Again, there's what the size is again. Why is everyone so small anymore?
Yeah, he came in at 5'9", $177 at the combine.
$177? That's what I was in 8th grade.
Yeah, I think that sucks though. It's like he has talent, man. You can see it, but like that little.
Mike, you play in Chicago. He's bound to get blown away by, I mean?
Augusta Wind.
That's what I'm saying. 177?
Yeah, that's what the it's coming up from the combine stats that I pulled up. 5'9", a buck 77. Ran a 4.3, 540. Well, he should at that weight. 39-inch vertical, which is awesome.
He should be able to just fly at that weight.
And he did put up 20 benches on the 225, so he's not weak, but we did this with CA3. The smallest I'm willing to go is Makai Lemon. He's at least at 5'11".
At least he's a head case, and we know he's going to be good.
He's a head case, but he looks like a fun head case.
Remember the old Mario Brothers game, like Mario 2, where the princess could actually fly across the whole screen? That's what a guy that's 77 pounds or 177 pounds should be able to do. He should just be able to fly over everybody else and catch the wind, catch the gust to the end zone. Let's jump into Loud. I'm sorry, Loud hardly back on the board. He says this: I live around ex-Giants players and coaches with Super Bowl rings, no names. I coached for 30 years. It moved on me. I coached for 30 years. They agree with me. Play Will Howard and see what happens if he sucks. That's, what, that I think that's the best thing. That's the best decision we can make. In all honesty, not saying that I'm throwing the season, but saying I'm giving this kid a chance to look at him. If he plays good, that's going to be good. If he doesn't, we're probably not going to do as well as we could do, and maybe get a better chance at a higher quarterback in the draft next year. But for whatever reason, people there's a lot of people that's against the Will Howard thing. And again, I'm going to say make him compete, because here's the thing: everything I say is going to get broken down. They're like, what do you have to do? So I'm going to break it down a little bit.
Yeah,
you're going to make him compete in preseason. You're gonna let him play a lot. You're gonna let him play with everybody else on the team. Give him an opportunity to compete against all the other quarterbacks that are there. And then if you think that he won, let him play the season. You know what? And if he's good, he's gonna have a good season. If he doesn't, we don't have that good of a season. And then because he's not that good, we could then look at next year, which it correlates to him not having a good season, because we'll drop or rise in the draft due to this. And we could go after the guy that we really, really want next year, weeding out Will Howard if, in fact, we don't think he is the guy. Or, again, maybe he steps in and gets us to the divisional round in the playoffs. We don't know. We don't know what to expect from this season. Everybody, Mike, they're already saying it's going to be a failure. I disagree with it. I think that we're going to land on our feet. I don't know what that means. It just doesn't mean that things are going to fall apart the way that people think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to fall apart. But I agree with you 100%, Loud. That's my exact thought process, in case anyone's wondering.
Especially, I'm starting to come around to it. I don't think he's going to be a franchise saver, but like you said, you got to give the guy a chance. And what better year to find out than this year?
You ain't kidding, because after this, we expect things to get better every year, Mike. So why not?
Because right now we kind of know what this team's floor is going to be. 8 to 9 wins, probably. Okay. If we win more with this guy, great. This is not a Super Bowl team yet. There's foundational pieces here that can help you win, but what's not there yet. And, if you go out and find out this kid's not the answer, and like I said, the worst case scenario is you're picking within the top 10, top 5, and that's going to turn out to be the best case scenario for your franchise. So why not go ahead and do this while also still adding pieces? If the rumors are true of the guys that they're looking at in free agency, in via trade, this tells you, okay, they're ready to put together a dynamic offense. So why not find out if this kid can run that offense?
Exactly.
And if he doesn't, okay, that gives you more information. Go, okay, we know it's not him. Now we know to focus our attention to the draft, and look, we're picking in a very advantageous position. So we get the guy, we can plug him in right away, and then we're off to the races. We're going to be better than what we were last year, because now we got someone who's even better than the young quarterback who was there.
I do want to say welcome to the show, Robert Throde. Robert Throde, 4579. Robert says this: Alec Ingold was just released by the Dolphins. He's a great blocking fullback that would fit McCarthy's offense.
I'm down for it.
Welcome.
I've always liked him. He was what I think the Raiders.
Welcome to Robert. I also want to say welcome back to Loud. Loud says this: Mike, the free agents suck, and so does the draft class. So wait 1 year. Tomlin didn't win a playoff game for 10 years, and you think we're going to this? That's what I'm saying. Let the kid play. That's what I'm saying. Even if things get bad, all right, we went 500 for 100 years in a row. And we couldn't win a playoff game. That's all right, whatever. If we plan on moving forward, sometimes you have to take that risk, and that's what we're going to have to do. And that's just my opinion, guys. I feel the same way as Loud does. Great comments, Loud. Let's go to S. Dresden. S. Dresden says, this Khan, I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all. I don't speculate. He just does not trust Omar. Can't trust. He says, I don't trust a guy named Khan. Is that the worst thing ever? I don't know. Vegas says this. That comment rubbed Watson. Wait a sec. That comment rubbed Watson the wrong way. Tortilla says, I think Ty can be good if he lands in a good spot. Sure, he can't carry a team, but with a team around him, he has the tools to develop. That sounds like the description of what a Brock Purdy is to me, Mike. He's a guy that he can't carry a team, but if he has a good team around him, and he can make some waves.
A good facilitator of the a
Right.
good facilitating point guard, man. Not the best guy on the team, but will get your offense moving. That's what we need. Just someone who can minimize mistakes and get the ball quickly and accurately to a DK Metcalf, to maybe a Brian Thomas Jr., and Omar Cooper Jr., a Patty Fry. Just get the ball out of your hands and let them do the work, man. That's really what we need right now. We don't need that franchise-saving quarterback because they're not out there right now. So get someone who can play smart and safe.
Vegas says, I swear the Pens would score 5 to 6 goals every game back then. It was absolutely, and like I said, they're certainly in a big improvement. And Mike, I called this. I said, get these guys new coaches. Whatever it is about hockey, you just play better with new coaches.
You do.
Every single Penguin team, Mike, won with a new coach. The only one that didn't win with a brand new coach, it was Mike Sullivan's second year, because he just won the one the year before.
Yeah, right.
And it's not even exaggerating. Every Penguin Stanley Cup was won. It went to with the new coach, because even the lost Michel Therrien was the new coach, and he got them there but lost.
They're soft.
So again, that's with hockey, if all else fails, get a new coach.
Get a new coach, and it works because you get that new energy in there, that new excitement, and then the players respond to it, man.
As all three
teams,
Mike, in Pittsburgh have new head coaches. So again,
let's see how it goes, baby. It's working all right for the Penguins. Like, they're actually outperforming expectations.
When was the last time the Pirates looked good at anything? I mean, come on, they're
right,
10-3 in preseason, better than anybody else. Again, yes, it is preseason, but that's a good sign. It's got to be a good
that's
sign.
a good sign. We will take the guys that we brought in are actually playing well in the preseason, where in years past the guys that we brought in usually sucked. So this is a win right now.
We've always had a hodgepodge of nothingness. As we said,
right now, the Bucko preseason is our Madden cover.
They had, the Ben Sherrington went out and spent money again. The first time in franchise history they spent over $100 million in a season, and you're going to see it, Mike. I like these new bats.
And these guys are looking good. And I think you said it the other day on the show. They look excited to be Pittsburgh Pirates.
And the big problem,
excited to be making.
The big problem was last year, Mike, was they had nothing to supplement the pitching. The pitching is fantastic. I think people are going to be so surprised at how good our pitching staff is. Now you add those 3-4 extra bats. Again, I don't want to go on and on about the Bucks.
But my big worry about the Bucks is the same thing like with the Steelers. When one side of the team is doing well, the other side doesn't do that well.
All right, let's move on. People don't want to talk about the Bucks today. Let's get
it's just
Loud Hartley. He says Ty Simpson is a 5th-round pick at best, proven. Also, Tortilla says, "Damn, did I miss the draft?" Vegas says Jesse caught the ball away from his body, then brought it into his body. A clear football move, then reached it across the goal line. Another clear move. Again, 3,001 days. There's been 3,001 days between now and when that happened. Crazy. Loud Harley says this: you people watched Kenny play for 2 years, and you have a problem with playing Will Howard for a year. You guys must have a drinking problem, and we do have a drinking problem. But I agree with you, Loud. I think the way that we explained earlier is how it should go, but that does not change anything. Mike still has a heavy drinking problem.
I mean, what, you trying to say it like a bad thing?
I'm just
I like the way it tastes, and I like the way it makes me feel, and like the way it makes me think.
Vegas says Branch is 5'10", 180. He can take Calvin's spot. Also, Tortilla says, to be fair, Alabama is nowhere near as stacked as they. But here's the thing, and I agree with you, Tortilla, 100%. This is not an argument, not a debate. They are Alabama. They get the top of the top. They get the cream of the crop. They get the classes of the classes, along with about 3 or 4 other colleges that get them every year as well. The Ohio States, the LSUs. Even though these teams don't fare like they usually do sometimes, they still do get the top prospects, the top football players. And again, you can't be undefeated every year. At the end of the day, other teams are better at some time. So again, you got to consider that these are the best of the best. And not every team could have the undefeated season in college, and like this year, Ohio State looks better because they went all the way, and vice versa, or whatever happened. And Alabama didn't look good. Maybe these players don't look as good because they weren't that team. But again, these guys get a lot of good kids. We have to keep that in mind as well, because there's only, like I said, only about 5 of these schools every year, Mike, year in, year out, that gets the top talent. But again, not disagreeing with you. I totally understand what you're saying, though. S. Dresden says this, Mike, the quarterback is in the 2027 class, or Howard or Green. Vegas says 20 reps is very good. Also, Somber says Roman is 5'10", 186. Somber also runs a 4.340 is what he's saying about Roman. S. Dresden says Mackay is not a head case. He's a football player that is not a shitbird. Also, Robert Throat says this. Robert says Simpson has severe gastritis and lost more than 20 pounds before that poor stretch. He might be a lot better than we think. My biggest concern is he started only 15. What is that's has problems with shitting, right? That's gas and things like that, Mike.
Hey, he'd fit in with the division. He was Lamar Jackson had to go run off the field and take a massive dump the one game, so he'd fit right in. But if that's the case, cool. But I take a flyer on a guy like that in the 4th round, and
he sounds like he should
not with pick 21.
Like a guy that has the problems that he's talking about. Really feels like he should be a Cleveland Brown, doesn't he?
Should be.
That just feels really Cleveland Brown.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Really Brown like me.
I really have to take that soundboard.
You're not. I'm locking it away every chance I get. You're never going to touch it. Vegas says this, not sure what Roman was doing to not get a helmet for damn near half the season, but that's not a good look. Hey, you know what? It came back, Vegas. As far as we know, Aaron Rodgers says, or was it Aaron that said somebody? Aaron said, Mike, that it was his professionalism. Roman Wilson, allegedly, it was his professionalism that kept him in Aaron Rodgers' doghouse. So whatever that means, it doesn't appear to be his size. It doesn't certainly be his performance. Again, with the exception of that one goofy play where he threw the ball into the ground on that fumble, he catches 99% of the passes that I've seen thrown to him. Really legitimately, Mike, from a fan standpoint, there's no reason he shouldn't have been playing. No. So I tend to believe this when I hear that it's because Aaron Rodgers said it's his professionalism.
Yeah, because every time he was out there, he looked like a competent NFL receiver. Watching him run his routes, and when he had the ball in his hands,
he wasn't getting
outside of that one play,
spiking the ball before the referee whistled. He wasn't walking away from live plays like receivers that we had in the past that got playing time did.
He made an obvious rookie mistake on that play. Yes, he wasn't a rookie, but it was his first year playing, trying to do too much. That should be just, hey, don't do that. You're not that guy yet. Just take what you can get and move on, and we can fight another down. It doesn't mean like my quarterback's never going to throw you the ball again when you're out there. My offensive coordinator's never going to play you again. Like I just don't get it unless there really is something going on behind the scenes that no one knows about.
Well, I'm going to say right now, right off the top, I'm going to grab RB. Just the last comment, Mike. RB. He says this, like Roman constantly ran wrong routes at practice, never stayed at practice to do extra work, or never attended the volunteer film studies. Rodgers said that's big, especially with a guy named Rodgers back there. I mean, if it was, Will Howard or even somebody else, it might not have been the same thing, but I think Rodgers was certainly that with him, Mike. Coming from a guy who doesn't play the whole preseason, maybe shouldn't, but he seems like the guy that will certainly pick other people apart for the little non-professional things that they do.
Especially like during the season, like, those extra things at practice, that goes a long way. And, your quarterback invites every receiver and every tight end to watch film.
Right.
I would be all over that because that's going to help me get better at my craft. So I can get on the same wavelength as him. Like, hey, what do you like to done? That's what I would gear towards. I'd be all over that.
Let's go to I'm gonna go right here to I'm sorry, to John, my man, Big John Stud, middle name Mud, Steeler Freak 1964 says this. And again, Art isn't gonna play Howard. It is a great off-season discussion for wishful thinking. Somber says, I better not see Mason on the preseason at all. He doesn't get cut full games from Howard, please. We better see Mad Howard. Mad Howard. Let me ask you this. I thought of another situation, guys.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Let's say Aaron comes back.
Okay.
Let's say he gets us to the divisional round in the playoffs. We win that game in the first round. We get to the divisional round and we lose by 3 points. And the season ends. Where does your mind go at that point? You're thinking, okay, next year, what can we do to get past this, get further than this?
Yeah.
Knowing that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be an option, knowing that you have, some options on the team already in-house, and then the draft coming with all the quarterbacks, where do you go if we make it to the AFC divisional game and lose by 3 at the end of a game? Team kicks the field goal to win it. I mean, that's close to being into an AFC championship game. Let's say Aaron Rodgers gets us to that point this January coming up. What's the thought process for the Steelers? What's the thought process for Steeler Nation? What is the thought process at that point? Because you're so close, you're moving in the right direction, you're moving forward. We put pieces in place for Aaron to score more and to be more productive. The new coaching staff, let's say we get to that second round playoff game. We can do a little better than we did this year, and we win. And we lose that next game by 3 points. When you're thinking quarterback this time next year, what's the thought process? You try to talk a 44-year-old quarterback to coming back the following year? Do you want to start over again with the conversations we're having now, the draft talk? Let's give Will Howard a chance talk. Let's just say that's reality this time next year. What do we do if we lose the divisional round game on an end of the game-winning field goal to get eliminated from the playoffs? That could certainly be very interesting for Steelers and Steeler Nation.
Yeah, that's when you definitely go quarterback hunting and find that QB that could definitely put you over the top. Because at that point, you're ready to start contending for conference championships and contending for a spot in the Super Bowl. That's when you go, okay, hey, this experiment with the 42-year-old quarterback was good. Who can we go find that could give us what 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers gave us and more? That's when you start heavily
struggle, because this is what make Aaron good, especially
I know,
43 years old.
There, yep.
If this was easy to find, 32 teams would have a team with this, but they don't exist. There's not 32 quarterbacks that have this.
At that point though, I would not run it back with him.
Just an interesting, something to think about, guys. Maybe throw your opinions on the board as well. Let me move up to right here to Tortilla, where he says Rodgers sat for 2 years. Why can't Howard? I want to see him too, but it's unrealistic to think we aren't going to bring in a better option. Howard will have to steal the job, and rightfully, and if he does, that be the case. We have to see him. We have to see him. It's crazy to think that we are not going to see him again. Preseason is going to be big for one way or another for Will Howard. John says this, the Rooney competitive means no Howard. Vegas says, I highly doubt Will starts week 1, seeing how he has 0 snaps in his career. And I agree. But it doesn't leave many other options. Certainly unless you go out and you bring in somebody. Kyler Murray, as far as Derpy's news this morning, Kyler Murray looks like he's going to be heading to the Vikings. I didn't see this. I can't confirm this, but this was something that Derpy did send over this morning. He is saying that Kyler Murray, Mike, may be heading to Minnesota.
Yeah, I know that's the big rumor right now, and I think that would be a good landing spot for him. Get up there with Kevin O'Connell. He helped refine and get the most out of your boy Sam Darnold. So why not go there? And you got some pretty good weapons on offense with Jetta and Jordan Addison. If I'm Kyler Murray, I'm doing everything I can to get up there, because like I said yesterday, there's no competition behind him either.
You're right. Mark Malone, I do look forward to seeing him play in preseason, as do I, Mark. I am very excited to watch Will Howard play in preseason.
Yeah, that's really what I want to see on it is preseason. And then, I have no problems. Like, if we bring back Aaron Rodgers, he goes out and runs the rest of the season, and Will Howard sits and develops for another year. Because, before Ben, that's what even first-round quarterbacks had to do. They had to sit and develop for a few years before they got out onto the field. So why not do it for someone who probably needs a little more seasoning.
And even Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe. He didn't jump out of school in the 6th round, obviously, and become what he was. He sat behind Drew. Drew got hurt, and he took advantage. RB says this. This is actually pretty funny. RB says, I was just thinking, what happened to that virgin Field of Steel? Field of Steel, he says, did I miss something? Did he and Finch have another blow-up or something? I'm sure they did. But you know what? Field of Steel, he comes and goes. What Field of Steel did, because he was with us last season, through football season, and then he dissipates during the offseason, but he works his way back. So if you're liking it without Phil, he comes back eventually. Just a heads up on that.
TJ Watt.
S. Dredson says this: no mercenaries. Vegas says after this, I'm going to watch Will on the Gruden show again. Somber says saying shit we all know, referring to Will. RB says this: Con, people, please listen to me. Con is not a GM. Con is a bean counter. Weedle drafts. Tomlin picked the free agents. Omar makes sure all the beans that can be saved are saved. Also, RB follows up by saying this: Con knows less about football than the shit I just took. He's a numbers wizard. Somber says we know this. Also, Vegas says, Will legitimately say his college wide receiver room is better than his pro room? I'd agree with that. For the most part, I mean, come on. Who in that wide receiver room besides DK Metcalf would you even be able to have in that conversation? I mean, you know, maybe Roman Wilson a couple years ago, but
when he was beating them,
he ain't beating nothing now. He's beating himself because he's a kid.
He was beating that meat.
Stay professional. As Dredson said, negative on free agent quarterbacks. Also, Robert says this: Simpson has severe gastritis from a bad reaction to a medication and lost about 20 pounds before a bad stretch. I wouldn't risk a number one or first round on him, sorry, but a number two might be worth it, Mike. That is, of course, Ty Simpson. Again, he has the shitting problems. Vegas says this: NHL is crazy how they fire coaches. The Vegas are on their third head coach in 8 years. I know, didn't Vegas just start on their third head coach, and they went to the finals in year 1 and won it in year 6?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how that plays out in hockey. It truly, because it's almost foolproof. Mike, you get a new coach, you're going to get success in hockey. It doesn't matter.
Hockey's the one sport, man, where system and personnel, like you have to have the right coach to run the right system and personnel. Where other sports, I think you can kind of make up for it for the individual aspects of it. But hockey is, you all five have to play the same more than like some other sports. Because in basketball, you know, you can have your one-on-one matchups. Football, you get the ball out, your one-on-ones. Hockey, man, it's a lot of, you have to have the right system for those guys. Because Mike Sullivan, he ran the right system when those cats were younger and were able to skate up and down the ice. It's not working now when they're older, and the new coach comes in, has more or less the same players, and changes the system, and you see the success of it.
I couldn't agree more. Let's go to Des Dredson. He says Fred Sanford was an American champion. Tremendous. I couldn't agree more. As Mike is the fish-eyed fool here on the show. I love Sanford and Son. Matter of fact, I got back into Sanford and Son kick a couple months ago, Mike. Remember, I was watching it every night for the marathons forever.
Yeah, anytime I'd stop over at the studio, that's all I would fucking see. No, I'm not complaining, because who doesn't love Sanford and Son? But when you get obsessed with the show, you get obsessed with it, because you don't watch a lot of shows.
I really love that Ann Esther.
She's the best.
Somber says this: internal issues, yes. RB says Roman constantly. Okay, we did get that one. Roman constantly ran the wrong routes at practice, never stayed after practice to do extra. What does this guy have going on in his life that he can never stick around? And the thing is, you're a professional football player. They're planning on making you a millionaire. You can't hang around after practice and do a little extra work. What's this guy have so important going on in his life? Come on, get with it. If that's the problem, in fact, get with it, dude. Somber says weird they called him a hard worker. Someone is lying. Interesting, Mike. The most recent I heard was he's a slacker, but again, if that's true, that is very interesting. Richard John, what's up, my man? Richard Jankowski. Always great seeing Richard on the board. He says yes, you got to put in the work, because why not, Richard? If you don't, there's 1,000 kids behind you that will. It's a cutthroat league. Say what you want, baby the guys as much as you want. There's always going to be 10,000 kids behind you ready to do what you want, willing to do. Vegas says this: so Aaron treated him like Kobe treated his teammates. He felt He felt weren't working hard enough in practice. I'm cool with that. I am too. I think you have to be like that. You have to hold people accountable, especially on a team sport. Come on. Vegas says Will has the superstar X factor on my Madden team. I see that there's an X factor that I want to see. I'm not I'm not familiar with Will, but I keep hearing about this FU energy that he has. I want to see this FU energy. I got to see the FU energy.
Hopefully, the FU energy isn't throwing the ball into triple coverage.
Maybe it's throwing touchdowns. Again, it's always the negative with you. Every time I talk about an Ohio State person, your face scrunches a little bit, and then you say something negative. Every time. Go back and look at the tape, everybody. Let me go on though to right here. John Steeler Freak says this. Just keep putting the Seahawks Super Bowl win tape in, and remember, Rodgers isn't winning a Super Bowl again. But in all fairness to that, John. Wouldn't Kenny Walker still be having a big game in the Super Bowl if Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback? I didn't think Sam Darnold, there was things that Sam Darnold did that I think that Aaron Rodgers would have also did. Seattle had a pretty damn good team, so I don't know if it would be just not having Aaron or Aaron whatever. Again, a lot happened in that game for Seattle. Good running game, great defense. But point taken, absolutely taken. Aaron Jade, here we go. Steelers, there is that message, Mike, that I need to see every day to stay functional. There it is. Mark Malone, why won't that guy turn the caps off? LOL. Of course, talking about Phil the Steel. RB says, MM. I'm in this situation. I think it's going to is Mike McCarthy. MM.
No, it was Mark Malone.
Mark Malone. Interesting. Mark Maloney says he's a basement dwelling virgin. Oh, well, that makes sense. I would have eventually got it, Mike. His cap locks button is probably welded into place from Old Baby Gravy. I like it. Also, Vegas says Bruins fired their head coach after winning over 50 games, so right. Vegas scooped him up and won it all. It's amazing what a new coach in hockey can do. Barney Miller, John is saying, intestinal, not internal. LOL. Aren't the intestines internal? Just let's see. I'm going to go right here to Sash Chaw. I do want to say welcome to the show. He says somber is everywhere. Sash Chaw said, haha. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. Also, Vegas said Ann Esther was hilarious on Dean Martin. Absolutely. Ann Esther was great, even all the way up till the Friday movies. Ann Esther was one of the church ladies, if you recall. Well, fuck you too, you half-dead motherfuckers. That was Ann Esther in Friday. Let's go to Vegas. He says, I'm 53 and I love playing video games. It's much better than blowing money at a strip club, bar, casino, or trying to get good at golf.
You ain't wrong, brother.
Somber says, but I read it. You know what? I got to be honest with you. I'm probably dyslexic, to be honest, Somber. Let's go to... Hold on, let me go back here. All right, right here. To Robert. Robert says, I'm not trying to defend Simpson, but gastritis involves the stomach lining and could also cause nausea and vomiting, making you unable to eat. He is healthy now. Let's scoot up here a little bit. And there might not have been ever been a thing in my life I read right the first time I read it. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, no. Watching you some of these days, like I see the mental struggle some days. When you trying to read these comments, it makes me giggle.
Corey says, Vegas, that's cool, man. Not knocking you. It's just not my thing. All good, guys. I got a few topics we're going to get into. I got some good stuff here today, actually. Let's do this first, Mike. Let's do this first. This is some good news that you may think is good news from Pittsburgh camp, Mike. Of course, not camp, but the Pittsburgh organization. These are things that are being said. Mike, move TJ Watt around again. You remember last season, the big idea was move TJ around so he's not coming from one position all game, being easy to identify and easy to handle. Mike, the Steelers plan to move TJ Watt around again. It is said that, quote, cool things are cooking up, Mike, with this new defense.
Didn't we hear that last year?
But it was a different coaching staff. For whatever reason, the coaching staff that just left had a hard time pulling the trigger, and a lot of things we're finding out. We're going to see this time around if it was that, if these guys just weren't pulling the trigger, because for whatever reason, they are excited. Mike, cool things are cooking up. That's in quote. And also, Alex Highsmith pledges more pass rush looks, Mike, more pass rush looks, which again, at the end of the day, we weren't getting a whole lot of pressure sometimes, leaving our defensive backfield on islands and sometimes burning us, especially in Cincinnati games when we were getting tore up. Between two receivers giving up 22 catches. So again, Mike, the rushes need to come more. Again, if the defensive line ain't getting the pressure, let's get these guys in the backfield and try to make some plays, because we're spending a lot of money for these edge rushers.
Oh yeah, and we better hit on every single new move that they're doing back there, because we we need to get back to getting after the quarterback. That's where you end up getting a lot of interceptions too, because you're putting the pressure on them. They're making stupid mental mistakes, and you got some guys back there that can ball hawk. So let them go at it. Maybe not Joey Porter Jr., but I'm assuming he'll have his guy locked down. The quarterback won't even throw his way. They'll throw to everyone else who actually has hands and not nubs back there.
Mike, this is something also interesting about the defense. Not entering it being medically cleared by some teams. Asante Samuel Jr., his value is it's supposed to be dropping, because not every team is going to let him pass after having his spinal fusion surgery and coming back. Mike, so this is going to make it interesting for him. If somebody offers him a decent amount of money, do you see him taking it? Because just it's the higher amount of money is not going to be there, or the Steelers going to pay him. What's going to go on with Asante Samuel Jr., Mike? Again, his injury certainly makes his situation interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it's going to make the market for him so much smaller. Like you said, how many teams?
So who's going to be willing to actually pay him good money when everybody else is only willing to pay him what he's actually worth?
Yeah, someone might take a risk on him, but hopefully, maybe he's like, hey, Pittsburgh gave me a chance. I like it here. I like what I'm hearing from the new coaching staff, and comes back. But I don't think it's going to take a whole lot of money to get him back. He's going to try and probably get the most that he can, because you never know how that injury is going to go. But if I'm the Steelers, I'm willing to probably match what a team would give him. I think him and Porter will work well together. I think he would mesh well in that secondary, because when he came into the tail end of last year, he looked good, looked solid, didn't look lost, didn't look out of place. I'm definitely would take a flyer on him.
And also, Mike, this was suggested, of course, the Minkah Fitzpatrick talk earlier in the week. The Dolphins are looking to move him. Let me ask you if this secondary sounds nice to you. And again, it may not, but hear me out. This is something that I did grab off the internet, Mike. What about Deshaun Elliott and Minkah Fitzpatrick at safety, Ramsey at the slot, JPJ and Asante Samuel playing the outside corner positions? How does that sound to you? Again, that's a pretty strong secondary, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of people upward of 30, over 30 in that group. But at the end of the day, Mike, if we don't like that, the only thing we're really missing from that is Minkah Fitzpatrick. The rest of the secondary is basically going to stay the same.
Yeah, it's going to stay the same. I don't want Minkah Fitzpatrick. I want a corner in the draft, and then I want a young safety, whether he's a hard hitter or a ball hawk. Give me someone who can more or less play free safety back there. I want a center fielder back there that's going to be picking people off left and right.
Last thing about the defense, we are going to jump on to the offensive side of the ball in a moment. Mike, the last thing on defense. Now, this was some scoop that we've got from the inside, Mike. There's a possibility. I mean, it's actually I've seen, a matter of fact, is before we got on, so it's kind of widely known that I'm actually making it out to be like Herbig not looking to renegotiate unless he has a starting position on this team. Mm-hmm. Now, don't this put you in an interesting position if you're the Steelers heading into the next season or so? Because again, you have TJ Watt, who got you 7 sacks. He's making quarterback one money, and I'm talking good quarterback one money. On the other side of the table, Mike, hold on, let me find where I was at. On the other side of the table, you have Nick Herbig, who got 7.5 sacks. Mike, 7.5 sacks by Nick Herbig, who's making on his rookie contract. TJ Watt making quarterback one money, getting 7 sacks. Should it be time to get rid of one of these rushers, Mike? Plug Herbig in his spot because we have legitimate three starting pass rushers. And guess what? Nick Herbig's going to go somewhere else and make mad money if we don't do it here. Which one of these guys should be out of the loop moving forward, Mike? Because at the end of the day, it's not going to work out moving forward because there won't be a reconstruction. And then once it comes time to talk contract numbers and everything, he wants to be in a starting position, Mike. Who loses out ultimately in this trio?
Oh,
I mean, it's a good problem to have, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a TJ Watt, like imagine the money that you would have to spend on this football team. We wouldn't be talking about, we would go get AJ Brown. We would take a draft pick, take money to do whatever we had to do. Imagine the good position this team could be in financially if you take TJ Watt out of the equation, slide Herbig in his slot, have Highsmith opposite side. Highsmith makes good money, but obviously not as much as TJ. And again, for 7 sacks, in missing games in the most important time of the year. Again, not his fault. He got the jab and it effed him up. But who loses out, Mike? Somebody has to lose out in this because at the end of the day, Herbig wants to play football.
Me personally, I would move if I find anyone to take TJ Watt's contract and go. Just take him and go, and then plug in Herbig right there. That's what I would do. But I think the most realistic move, and the most realistic move would probably be Highsmith. I think his contract's easier to move. But the one that I think will happen, I think Herbig will play this year on that contract.
And he's so young and fresh.
But they will try.
They'll
slap the franchise tag on him, but that's only going to go up because I think for this year, for linebackers, or because it's not specified edge, so linebacker would be $27 million this year. DN was $24 million. So you're looking around that plus a couple million more, anywhere from $24 million to $27 million, in that range, maybe a little more of what it would take to franchise tag Nick Herbig. And if you go that route, is he going to want to negotiate for a long-term contract? Are you going to try and tag him and trade him? Or then at that point, do you trade, Highsmith or what? But now teams know you even have less negotiating power because they know you want to extend Herbig. So the time to move on from one of those guys was last year when Watt's final year. That would have been the time to move on from him, and then you would have all that money to take care of the young rising stars. But that's not the way we do business anymore. We just keep people long enough so we can go, yay, they were here their entire careers.
That's what I'm saying.
Instead of worrying about the name,
if you age,
the logo,
and your production goes down, that's already 2 out of 3 strikes against you.
Yeah.
You're aging for one, and he is, and his production's going down, and it is.
Big time.
You have to look at those things. As RB wrote on the board right here, Mike, he says Watt makes more money per sack than Herbig makes in 4 years. To me, this is a no-brainer. Again, we could hope that TJ comes back and has a better season, but 7 sacks is the bare minimum I would think that you'd expect from TJ.
Yeah, but,
and again, Mike,
but he's not going anywhere. They already said they wanted him to be a lifetime Steeler, so he'll be here until that contract's over. So I have a feeling
can they force him to retire the same way they did Troy Polamalu and these other guys?
I wish force the guy who actually wants something around here to retire. I wish they would put that treatment on TJ Watt.
Well, again, it's hard to say. I mean, yes, the Steelers haven't won. For people to keep going on about TJ hasn't won, nobody on this team won. The coach hasn't won. The Hall of Fame coach hasn't won since TJ's been here. So again, that's kind of an unfair thing to say.
He's the common denominator.
Can't you? I'm like, come on, Dan Marino's never won a Super Bowl, but he's still considered one of the best quarterbacks. So again, I hate when people say that TJ never won a Super Bowl. What do you want him to do? He can't catch and run and throw and pass and coach and kick and return kick. It's just, come on.
Produce to his contract level in the playoffs.
To me, that means get more than 7 sacks in a season for making quarterback money.
Exactly. Yeah, I would. But he's going to be here until he retires, and I feel the odd man out will be Nick Herbig. I was just going to let him walk out the door, or they're going to either try and trade him with that franchise tag, or franchise him, see if he'll play on that, or they'll let him go free agency and get the 3rd round comp pick for him.
And again, Mike, letting go the younger guy when the older guy who's making all the money's production is going down is insane. I think that should be the explanation of insanity, the description. Yeah. But RB, I couldn't agree more. RB says this. 7, and I was just proving a point, obviously. He says 15 is what he's being paid. 15 is the bare minimum. And that, believe me, that's the argument that I'm making. I just didn't actually use those particular numbers. The point being, he's not doing enough for what he's getting paid. What if he comes this year? What if he comes out this year and gets 6.5 sacks and is injured the second half of the year And here we are again. We don't have the money to get any players because TJ Watt's is taking it all. He's taking it all. I thought that you had to actually do work in exchange for money, but apparently it's not the case. TJ Watt continues to become filthy rich by not getting those numbers that he's getting paid to do. Again, Mike, just another year older is going to be TJ Watt this year. So we will see how that is going to play out.
Another year older and another year slower.
I agree. And listen, I'm not saying he sucks. He doesn't. He's as good or better than a lot of guys out there. But the situation at hand certainly is it's hurting the team.
Yeah, but for what the Steelers are paying him, you're not getting the bang for your buck.
You're not getting anything. You're giving away your money, and he's not giving you the results. So we're not getting anything. He's getting everything. That's, again, doesn't work. Doesn't fly.
Good work for you if you can find it.
Right. If you don't have to do your job and reach certain goals, and you still get the highest pay,
fucking sign me up, bro.
Please, by all means.
I'm all for it.
By all means. Mike, before we get over to the offensive side of the ball, let's go to get back on the board here. Vegas says, so Ty had PMS cramps, following that up by saying, and morning sickness. Tortilla says, I have dyslexia. I got some kind of issues. I don't know. I've never been tested, but there's definitely problems. Let's go to right here where Somber says, if you want to call bleeding of the intestinal tract PMS, sure. Vegas says, it just sounds a lot funnier. Come on, man. Corey says, move his ass to Vegas. RB says, same here. I have zero issues with video games. Madden is just pure effing ass. It has been since EA got the exclusive licenses. I hacked my PS4 and still play NCAA 05 and NFL 2K5, both far more superior. RB follows it up by saying far more superior.
Check your mic, Ryan.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right. My wire popped. I apologize. And RB did follow that up by he finished it up by saying far superior than any other Madden in 20 years. Steel Loyal, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Steel Loyal on the terrible board. He says, I don't know. Madden 26 is pretty good in my opinion. Followed that up by saying, and I grew up with the old ones. I did too. The original Madden. It was a couple years prior to the 1992. Now, 92 was the first one that actually had a year. There was John Madden football. It actually came in a cardboard box. And then 92 was the first year Madden. It started coming in the regular cases. Let's go to RB. I prefer realism. Madden's a total arcade animation-filled mess. Don't drink that Corey, my man. He says this. Yeah, I mainly get aggravated with Madden when people reference it as criteria for getting a player. Go get so-and-so because they're an 85 on Madden. Okay, so what the fuck, what?
Dude, that's what the Jets owner, he was listening to his sons, basing him off telling him to sign players based off their Madden rating and their PFF rankings.
Yes.
That's insane. See how well that turned out.
I mean, come on. The Jets literally do nothing right.
It's just when I read that story, I'm like, this might be the greatest thing I've ever read in my life.
The only thing that I'm taking from this is they probably were in Woodstock back in the late 60s, took a bunch of acid and sold their soul somehow, and they got that one Super Bowl. Because I got to be honest, Mike, anything outside of that one Super Bowl season's been garbage for the New York Jets.
Yeah. It's been terrible.
With some shaman. They sold their soul to some shaman at Woodstock, perhaps. Steel Loyal says, play simulation mode. Somber, not funny when it happens to you or someone you know. Usually most things aren't like that. Vegas is my favorite game is a horse racing game on PlayStation 3. Madden still has too many basic issues that should have been taken care of by now. RB says, I don't want any animation-based football game. I want realistic physics. I'm sorry. Physics. You can't. It didn't look like it. Should look like there should have been an H closer to the
B. Maybe it was a typo.
But of course, right. You can't have any sort of simulation when it comes when you have an animation-based concept. Vegas says, so I can't try to make light of it, even if it's happening to me. Vegas and Somber are going at it with this. They're still going at it with the farting issues going on with Ty Simpson, of course. I thought I had a sound for that, but I do not. Let me move on. Also, Steel. Well, I could mess with it here and get it. There it is. I just thought the time had passed. Steel Loyal says, I like the defensive schemes in Madden 26 and the custom coverages and stunts. It's sick. Somber says, nope, draft a rookie cornerback in the first 3 picks and start him. Let's go to RB. RB says this, Watt makes more money per sack than Herbig will make in 4 years. I don't know. What's complicated about that? You see what I'm saying? I think a smart person would say, okay, this guy is making half of the fucking money on this team, at least a quarter of the money on the team, and he yielded you 7 sacks. You have a younger guy that has wheels on him, who plays just as up to the level as TJ does at this point, who had 7.5 sacks, who's on a rookie contract. And if Herbig showed any signs of not, listen, he's so similar to TJ Watt, all the way down to the injuries. Is Nick Herbig, Mike, he has dealt with his injuries as well along the past few years since he's been here. I think that you're basically getting the same guy. You're getting the same guy, but his legs ain't 8 feet long like TJ's are. Basically, is what's happening. You're just spending more money and getting inferior results. Is to me what this looks like to the naked eye.
Yeah, and I want more Nick Herbig. The more that we see him, it's just that defense is going to be so much better. You never see him not making an impact. It feels like when he's out there. He needs to be out there at a time or at all the time, and he does not need to be a rotational piece. And they have to find a way to get all 3 of those guys out there if they want to keep all 3 of them.
And let me get to the guys are kind of. I was waiting until we got to the offensive side to get to this. Our RB, he did have some inside track on some of these guys on offense, and I will tell you who they are. We're going to get them in just a second, guys. RB did report to us this morning that we are really close to possibly bring Brian Thomas Jr. here. And also, guys, there's also information that RB brought to the table this morning. He said that possibly Kenneth Walker, let me see what he did right here, because Kenneth Walker and Brian Thompson, they could both be Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me grab what RB had said here this morning. Again, I was going to hold off, but agents are talking about Brian Thomas. Let me go right here. RB says he said something. Let me find it. And these guys, Mike, they talk so much about these players. It takes me a while to find the scoop because there's so much information.
I know, right? I had it saved as well.
Okay, so here it is. All right, here's what RB said to us this morning in our group chat. He says, I got word today that the Steelers are going to be serious players for Kenneth Walker III and tried to do it early when tampering begins. Legal has gathered all the agent information and they are ready to pounce at 0 hour. So again, this is an educated bit of scoop, guys. That is, of course, about Kenneth Walker. And then he follows that up this morning also saying, just got a text. Apparently, Brian Thomas Jr. trade with the Steelers is very, very, very close. So again, guys, we're going to keep our eye on that over the weekend. We're going to get into the offense real soon. Mike, why don't you take the next couple messages? I have to go take a leak. I will be back in just a moment.
Yeah, I got you. I forget where we stopped off at.
Go right about right here. I don't know. Just jump in somewhere and I'll
okay, we'll jump in right here where when RB saying TJ was paid for past performance, that's the dumbest things teams can do. Understandable if it's for 1 to 2 years, but not 5. Yeah, that makes sense right there. I totally agree because your contract's going to be based on your past performance, but they're expecting a lot more production coming after that. And it's very clear that you can tell TJ Watt has been on the decline for a few years now. You can see the explosiveness is not there, and that was his big advantage against everyone else, how fast he was off the line. And Steeler Freak saying Art isn't getting rid of TJ, therefore it is a fantasy discussion. It is a fantasy discussing option for him to leave, regardless. It's a smart move for the team. It would be a smart move for the team. It's not going to happen. Like you said, Art wanted him here. That was the whole thing when they signed the contract is we want to make TJ Watt a one helmet guy. And so they did, and it's going to hurt the rest of the team. I didn't like the signing then, and I like it less even now. Then Mark Malone comes back with, "Oh, I can assure you the WAP power will be back in full force now that Tomlin is gone." Unless he found the fountain of youth, I don't think so. I hope he can return to form. We need him to return to form, but I just don't see it happening. Vegas asking what numbers TJ would have to put up for it to be happy. I want at least 15 sacks. 16, 17 in that range. We're paying him a lot of money to be an impact player, and 15 to 17 sacks seems reasonable enough for me, especially with the more talent we have on the defense now around him, especially on the D line.
Like, that is the first time in 921 shows I've ever left the show to go pee. You might have almost thought that I didn't have a pecker. I never ever had a pee.
Well, we all knew that.
Never
it was
once.
The bladder we were worried about.
Never once, Mike. Never once in 920 some shows have I left to take a pee. But there you go. First time for everything. Let me find where we are.
We are at Tortilla saying TJ hasn't been the same since he hurt his foot and we lost 5 straight.
Okay. And you got that one already?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to RB. RB says, Mark Malone, did someone get him a youth potion? I'm sorry, TJ's skill-wise sucks. He has always he was always a little bit of a freak athlete, he's saying, and now that is gone. His skills are subpar. And that's what I'm saying. You could tell the edge isn't there anymore. And I don't know. That's what I'm seeing, at least. Let's go to Tortilla. He says this. He doesn't turn the edge. He doesn't turn the edge the same. So maybe the smart thing to do, if you're getting older, maybe moving him around like they said they were going to do last year. I think they did it literally about 5 times, if even. Maybe you changed your strategy a little bit. Okay, the guy's not 25 years old anymore. He's in his 30s. He's dealt with injuries. He's become a millionaire. So I think you take a little edge off when you become a multi-millionaire at some point. But again, maybe change the scheme up a little bit. Bring them from different areas. Bring them from the opposite side. Put them near Highsmith. Move them away from Highsmith. Do different looks. Again, if you're losing your abilities, you have to figure out a game plan beyond that. Figure out, all right, what can we do now? His abilities aren't the same as it was when he was 25. Let's figure out what we have to do next. Tyrone says, JPJ to go. What up, Tyrone? Always great seeing the GOAT. Tyrone on the terrible board. Brother, nice seeing you. As always, hope things are going well. Oh, stupid, muted again. It's my faulty wire. I apologize. Maybe Mike, at the top of the show was the super chat. Maybe that could go toward my faulty wire.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, Tortilla's coming in clutch.
All right, good again. Let's go scoot up here too. Somber, he says, no, Vegas, I'm sorry. Vegas says this. Daddy, you got a trade Sauce. He's only an 89.
Exactly. That's probably what's going up there.
Let's go to Somber. He says, I don't know. I've been hospitalized multiple times for multiple weeks at a time for gastrointestinal issues. So maybe I take it a little bit more seriously. Corey says this. Now you're talking about Bohemia. Yes, I am I'm heading in that direction. I do apologize for anybody that's not. But maybe the Jets just might have sold their soul, because there's really no other excuse for them to be the way that they are. RV says this. Woody Johnson gives 2 shits about winning. He's running a business. Says Cha. He says apparently the Brian Thomas Jr. trade with our Steelers is picking up steam. That would be huge. And again, that is something that we apparently, according to our sources, Mike, are pointing toward. It's kind of moving. It's kind of there is steam to that. Again, apparently Brian Thomas Jr. trade is very close. So what that means is, to me, again, Max Crosby and the Cowboys were also close yesterday. Yeah. So again, don't get all excited if something else happens. Yeah. But we are certainly trying to pursue Brian Thomas Jr.
I'm all for it. I liked him coming out of the draft a couple years ago. I think he was picked not too far after Fatanu.
Let's go look. I mean, come on, yeah, Fatano's.
He was like, it was like Fatanu or Brian Thompson Jr. and someone else were like the targets in that range, and we want tackle that year.
Let's see what's going on, Ty. Always great seeing you, bro. Vegas says it'll be cool with Brian Thomas Jr., but I still want absolutely. Even if we get Brian Thomas Jr., let's say we get him at the beginning of the week or next week at some point, you better still be really looking at wide receivers in the draft.
Yeah,
you better. It's just, come on. We went too long with one wide receiver. Time to give it back a little bit. Even this thing out. Sommer says I'd trade a player for Brian Thomas Jr. in a pick, but not picks personally. RB says Sash they were really close at the midnight hour last night. I'm told to hold up what the extra pick throw in is. Now the Bills have screwed everybody by giving a 2 for washed up DJ Moore. RB follows it up by saying it was a 3 to 5 for BJT, and now 7 something are being mixed around. Somber says a third is feasible. I figured they'd want a second. Vegas says Omar loves getting a late pick thrown in deals. Somber says out on a second. Sasquatch, would you be cool with Sasquatch just for now? Would you be cool with that? I don't want to offend you, but I'm going to go with Sasquatch just for now because I'm not sure how your name's pronounced, and perhaps that could be entertaining. Sasquatch says Chiefs are currently in the lead for Kenneth Walker. You know what? Again, they are because they're a successful team, and they're probably going to be good with a piece or two. However, the Steelers are also in on the Kenneth Walker the third stuff that's going on. Like, of course, the MVP of the Super Bowl. He looked unstoppable in February. Again, Mike, this is the word. Steelers are going to be a serious player. So again, I'm not saying that they're the front runner. Just stating that they're going to be a serious player for Kenneth Walker, and try to do it early when the tampering begins. So maybe they're trying to squeeze past Kansas City and get something done. Legal has gathered all the agent info, and they are ready to pounce at 0 hours. So we will keep an eye on that, as our sources have been very, very accurate as of late. So that's just how it's played out. Again, I'm not saying that Kansas City isn't. I'm not saying that Kansas City's not going to get them. I'm just going to say that the Steelers are in on it, and they would certainly take them in a minute. And I think, Mike, if they do, Kenneth Walker and Jalen Warren in the backfield is more than likely going to be the scenario.
Oh, yeah. I'll take that. We might need I'll take that. I was going to say we might need someone for who's better at pass catching, but I think Jalen Warren's just fine in that department.
Let's see, RB. He's in reply to Sasquatch. He said there is no lead for anyone. They aren't allowed to talk to anyone. LOL. Somber says apparently we're in second for Diggs. Shaking my head behind the Ratbirds. That's we did report. We talked about that yesterday. The thing is, I'm not crazy about Diggs, but I don't want the Ratbirds to get Diggs. You know what I mean? I don't want them while we're building what we're doing, but then I don't want to face them twice a year. So what do you do about things like that? I don't know. Steel Loyal says they could have Diggs, in my opinion, or they could have Diggs laugh my ass off. Sorry. Percentage of likelihood lead. LOL. Steel Loyal. They got plenty of room for all his baby mamas in Baltimore. Right here. Steel Loyal. I'm sorry. RB, I promise you we have zero interest in Diggs, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, God, hell yeah.
Tortilla, the Patriots just made a splash signing quarterback Danny DeVito. There you go, Mike. There's your quarterback, Danny DeVito.
DeVito, hey, we should have got DeVito and Corleone. That's all I'm saying. We're getting robbed of that damn duo here.
Let's go to Sombria. I think I was shaking my head that we're even close to the top of that order. Yeah, come on. He just doesn't. It doesn't feel like he would fit at all. Let's go to RB. He says it's that time of year. People make up shit for absolutely. They sure do. Some of the shit that I'm seeing, Mike, as I'm going and looking around the internet and looking around YouTube, some of these things aren't even in the ballpark what people are saying. I don't have anything in particular, unfortunately, but I've noticed that some of these takes are way out there.
They're wild to say that. Hot, wild, yes, to say hot. The least.
Let's see if also Richard says this. We should have traded TJ last year, just like his brother JJ started to fall off. The closer he got to 30. Tortilla, I heard we were going to set up a blockade outside of Jacksonville until they trade Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. DK, and like I said, get something in the draft, and already starting to be better. Yeah, well, once you had a wide receiver too, Mike, you're already better by default.
Yeah, you put him opposite DK. Cool. Then the first round, then I think you're open to a number of possibilities. You can take like the best player available at that point. Even if it happens to be a wide receiver, so be it. I'm all for this trade. Hopefully it can go through. Like I said, man, it's going to set up free agency. You're going to know what we need. Set the draft even more. This team could jumpstart, because if you can land BTJ in a trade, and you can somehow lure Kenneth Walker here, this offense is going to be good. So then in the draft or in free agency, you can address the O line. There's guards and tackles you can find that can play right away in free agency and in the draft. So my God, man, the offense is turned around in one offseason.
And it needs to be, because if this is what's going to keep Yinzers and Steeler Nation happy. That this has to have a quick turnaround. And again, if it does, Mike, we're doing things that nobody else ever does or is done without actually rebuilding and falling down to nothing and building us back up. If we could stay competitive while all this happens, I mean, you got to speak. It speaks volumes about the Steelers. Yeah. But again, we'll wait to see how that plays out. There's no guarantees that success is going to follow. Let's get right back on the terrible board here, where RB says this. RB says the issue is TJ is a puss. He will get beat the fuck up coming up the middle. And you know what? That's maybe that's why they didn't. But early in the season, Mike, I recall saying, look, TJ is not in his normal spot.
Yeah.
And then that kind of dissipated and back out to the corner, to the side he went, and that was it.
I tell you what, the couple times I've seen Herbig rush up the middle with that speed and explosiveness, that I want to see. I'd love to see more of that.
And he's got mad speed. I like it. Tyrone says, if we get Kenneth Walker and BTJ, I want A-Rod back, then Shower. You know, that's what I'm saying. It won't be so bad. Let's say we do add Kenneth Walker and we do get BTJ. Now Aaron Rodgers hasn't sounded so bad. I mean, it's like, okay, well, now this guy has targets. He has weapons. As long as we could keep him off the ground and keep him from running scared back there, the offensive line does their job. Like, and again, that's a big if, because the left side of the line is certainly a question mark. Things might be competitive this year. So Vegas says TJ needs to figure out how to turn himself into a power rusher from the speed rusher. TJ Watt will be back, is what Ty is saying. With his he got 2490 also. He has 8167. And Ty says, I don't know if Lindsay is here, but if she is, 90-24. Let's see, Steel Loyal 77-6.
6-7.
Also, RB says, I can't confirm this, but BTJ is going to be dealt because he can't stand Travis Hunter and his childish dancing bullshit at all. Some say Thomas snatched him up at one point this season. All right, maybe another level-headed person that could possibly come here. I mean, come on. Maybe. Steel Loyal says, wouldn't surprise me. Vegas said ESPN radio guy said there'll be 12 wide receivers taken in the first 2 rounds. Let's talk about the media just for a second, Mike. This is somebody who hates the Steelers, and generally we would agree with me by just comments he makes and takes that he has on our Steelers. Like Colin Coward. Colin Coward says this. Colin Coward believes Aaron Rodgers is still a top 10 quarterback, and the Steelers can win the AFC North. Mike, Colin Coward is so all over the place. Last year we couldn't start 0-6. We were going to be 0-6 according to this guy with Aaron Rodgers, and then this year at the same exact time of year, Colin Coward is saying he believes that Aaron Rodgers is still a top 10 quarterback, and the Steelers can now win the AFC North. I kind of like it when he's against us, because but that is what Colin Coward said.
No, not a top 10 quarterback. No.
Could his results be of a top 10 quarterback, Mike? I mean, could he squeeze in maybe at 10? Think of what's around the league. I mean, we have Geno Smith and Deshaun Watson, and
like, did he look like a top 10 quarterback last year? I don't think he did.
Well, I don't know. He did better than I thought he was going to do. But to say top 10, that's
but you can see there's a lot missing.
Somber, you're right. It was Orlovsky, but Colin Coward was also saying a bunch of negative things that. But it was, yes, Orlovsky said 0-6. But Colin Coward is generally very.
They're both usually wrong more than they're right. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. But no, I don't see him as a top 10 QB.
Let's go to Tyrone. Says Loyal, you ain't doing the numbers. Laugh my ass off. Somber. A lot of big moves being made. I do too. I love this time of year. I love seeing moves. I love seeing faces in different places. Somber says 30-80. Just learning. Says, I'm late now. You're good, brother. Nice seeing you, man. Welcome to the terrible board. Welcome to the show. RB says Diggs does nothing for Baltimore. Jackson can only throw deep balls in post. 2 things Diggs sucks at. Also, Ty says this. We never even worry. That's the thing. I don't worry about the Ravens. I just would rather them not have them. That's all. because I just know that a guy like that, Mike, will score 3 touchdowns against us in a game, and we'll be like, fuck, we could have had him. That could have been our guy. That's the way things work for us. Somber, keep in mind we don't have a quarterback. I'm personally not getting excited about any wide receiver being signed until we have a quarterback. And here's the thing about that as well, Somber. Having the pieces in place. And again, let's say we run Aaron. Let's say you bring Brian Thomas Jr. and you have him and DK. And you run with Aaron, or you run with Will, or you run with whatever. But next year the draft comes around and we do get our guy, and he's probably going to need a season to get acclimated and everything else. So to get a couple of these guys under contract, DK for a few more seasons, Mike is under contract, and maybe you bring Brian Thomas Jr. Under something similar, and then you could have, again, as they were saying on the board yesterday, all those pieces in place to maybe plug and play your quarterback, opposed to have him struggle early on. So,
and the system coming in too is quarterback friendly.
Yes,
it's going to be in wide receiver friendly. It's
just offensive.
It's going to be a lot different than the offenses we have seen in the past handful of years here. So it's a whole new ball game out there for the Steelers offense and potential free agents wanting to come over.
I couldn't agree more.
DK's 2030, and I know Brian Thomas Jr.'s, if we get him, he's still on his rookie contract, and he still have that 5-year option too. And I think he's only he'll be going on year 3.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a capability
so
to keep these guys around, Mike. So you have to, if you're building that for a young quarterback, he's somebody that could certainly be put in that spot.
Yeah, his free agent year is 2029, and that contract is dirt cheap.
Tyrone says, fix the left side of the offensive line. Need at least 2 to 3 wide receivers, 2 DBs, nose tackle, linebacker, safety. And again, the offensive line is something we haven't even got into, Mike, today. Very, very worrisome, in my opinion, especially if Siamalu walks, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you'll be getting to replace it. Is he getting older? Yes. I mean, would you like to upgrade? Yes. But again, you don't know what you're getting to replace him ultimately. Tortilla says, if Collins said that, we are screwed. Tyrone says A-Rod was good with what he had, needed weapons. Also, Somber says, but yes, Colin is also absolutely. And that's the point of bringing that up, is the fact that he'd said that he thinks that Aaron Rodgers could be the top 10 quarterback and they could win the division. These are things that generally doesn't come out of his mouth when he's talking about the black and the gold. Vegas says Colin was the sports guy on NBC. In Vegas for like 6 years, it was obvious he was going to be a national guy. Steel Loyal says, I'm daydreaming about a K9 and Warren in backfield duo. Man, would that be something?
Whew.
Talking about putting in a day's work on defense, having to stop those 2 guys all afternoon.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh man.
Sign me up.
And then add receivers and add a little bit of an offense. Yeah. Let's look at Somber. He says this, guys, would you want to come to a team with no quarterback? But this is the chicken and the egg. We keep going back and forth. Something's got to give. At some point, we either have to get receivers or get a quarterback. I mean, this is kind of the ping pong with what's going on. Let me finish the comment. That was my point. Even if they're expecting Aaron to return, no promises that a receiver will get good stats in 27 with a rookie. It's that's what I'm saying. It is tough. But at some point, we have to roll the dice with something. Otherwise, we'll continue to run in place as we have for 10 years, and that's not acceptable anymore. Things have to change. If we get KW, geez, I got to be honest, that'd be great. I think a lot of people will be excited. Let's jump to the offensive side of the ball, Mike, as that is about where we at on this point of the show. Mac Jones, again, I don't know. Why is everybody so willing to get rid of Mac Jones? Why is nobody jumping on the Mac Jones train is my question. I mean, he got drafted elsewhere. He's already been traded.
Yeah.
He's not playing there. He's already backing up there. I don't know. People don't seem like they're not knocking down the door for him.
No, they're not. No, Like you've seen some flashes from him, but then you've also seen the highs, you've seen the real lows from him too.
And then he got dumped, and the guy that took his place goes to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could
he be like a Sam Darnold type situation? I don't know. Last I read, like the asking price for him is like they want a first.
Yeah, that's not happening. Let's talk some offense,
Ooh.
Mike. This is a name. We're talking quarterbacks. This quarterback
Yeah.
threw for 23 touchdowns last year. Aaron Rodgers threw for 24, which some people on the board think say that that's a good thing. Mike, Jacoby Brissett threw 23 touchdowns last year. Jacoby Brissett found ways to manage to bring wins to teams that aren't that good. Is he another one of them guys that just might fit in? I forget who we talked about yesterday. They fell in that category as well, that they could probably come here and do some something for us. Again, 24, 23. If you like Aaron, can you not like Jacoby?
I'd rather go with Aaron Rodgers over Jacoby Brissett because I know what I'm getting out of Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of Jacoby Brissett.
Fair enough. Throw up your opinions on that one, guys, because I've seen Jacoby Brissett win games for bad teams and move the ball really well. But again, Aaron does have something up here that a lot of guys don't have. So maybe that is what you're referring to ultimately. On the board real quick, Vegas says bring back KP. He's a Super Bowl champion. He is a Super Bowl champion.
Smart ass.
Also, Tortilla says he played good, man. Tortilla says Brissett still nice, though. And again, I would ultimately pick Aaron Rodgers as well, just because, again, he might not be out here what he was. But again, if you have this upstairs, you're going to do all right. And again, he proved that last year. He certainly bailed us out a lot.
If you can give me a quarterback room of Aaron Rodgers and Jacoby Brissett, while kicking Mason Rudolph off the team and having Will Howard still sitting there as your developmental quarterback, I'd take that because I know if something happened to Aaron, Brissett can step in. I would be more comfortable with that if your goal is to try and win games, be competitive.
A couple names, Mike. These are your free agent wide receivers that possibly could be of interest. Some people named have been named, others have not that I haven't heard of as of recently. Mike Dobbs, of course, from Green Bay. Alec Pierce, of course, from Indianapolis. Deebo Samuel, Mike. Deebo Samuel. Are we over Deebo Samuel?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm 100% over Deebo Samuels.
How about Rashid Shaheed, Mike? Rashid Shaheed. A lot of people throwing this name out there when talking about the Steelers and possible wide receivers. Rashid Shaheed. He is a name. Also, Christian Kirk. This name came up last year on numerous occasions. And then finally, Mike, Juwan Jennings. This group of free agent names are out there floating around. Does any of these people sound good to you, Mike? Would you prefer any of these over the others? Some are saying no on Shaheed. Again, Dobbs, Pierce, Deebo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Christian Kirk, and Juwan Jennings. Who sounds the best out of that crop?
Like Dobbs, Pierce, and Shaheed are my three that I would love to get out of the free agency this year. Like Shaheed, because you can also help on the kick returns and punt returns. He had multiple last year for touchdowns. I think he would be awesome next to DK Metcalf. That another speedster there. Then he's still with him. You get him in free agency. You can still use your first round pick on another receiver as well. It'd be great. I like Shaheed. I like Dobbs. I like Alec Pierce. I like all of them. I think any three of them would look good in the black and gold.
Mike, these guys are possible movers. Jordan Addison, Mike, it's rumored that he wouldn't mind being moved from Minnesota. Brandon Ayuk, again, take that train back 2 years, Mike, as we went through that whole circus 2 years ago as we waited around. And for that reason, F him. I would never bring in Brandon Ayuk, but that's just me, as he kind of screwed us in a sense. Like we waited for months, and then he ended up going back with San Francisco at the end of the day. We got stuck in going into the season with no wide receiver too, but that's beside the point. Mike, he also could be interested in moving. And then finally, Michael Pittman, another name that could also be interested in moving this year. Those three guys, who do you like?
I like Michael Pittman. I don't know what it'd take to get him from Indy.
Yeah.
Did they franchise tag him, or is he still under contract? I can't remember. But if I would like Pittman, Addison, he's another one of those small guys, and I don't think he's lived up to the hype. I think he's good in their system, but I'd take Pittman. He'd be the one I'd want.
All right, let's get back on the board. Let's see.
And Ayuk, I think his knee's all jacked up too.
You know what? Screw Ayuk. I don't even want to think of Ayuk, Mike.
That guy.
The way he strung us along to the point where we couldn't get anybody. F that shit, man. And again, I don't know. I was impressed with him when he was killing us that year when we started out the season and got murdered by San Francisco 30-7 or whatever it was. You know what? I'm past that. I don't want Ayuk. Let's just see what everybody's saying, though, Mike. Right here, Somber is saying if we're going B tier guys, give me Tyson Baggett to battle with Will, cut Mason, draft a guy, and sign a camp body for the practice squad. He follows it up by saying no to Shaheed. Somber says, I'd take Kirk for cheap. Mike Kirk was somebody that we would have taken during the season while looking to fill that spot as we picked up ultimately MVS. Tortilla says, I'd take any of them. He said, give me any of them. I'd take them all. At this point, screw it. So Somber says, Dowds and Kirk or Wandell. BTJ and you know what? BTJ and Dobbs would be great. I think Tyrone is saying I would like that. Also, Somber says +2 rookies, of course. Get yourself some draft picks to kind of shore up the room, have younger guys. And then finally, Somber says DK, Dobbs, Kurt, Wandell, Roman, Sko, and 2 rookies in rounds 1 through 4. Mike, what's your thoughts?
I like the DK. I like Dobbs. Like Skoranek on there. Wandell Robinson, I was never a big fan of, but he has gotten better as he's gone on. Roman Wilson, no. But give me Dobbs, give me DK, give me Omar Cooper Jr., give me CJ Daniels out of Miami coming out of the draft. Take a flyer on him, and I think that'd be a fun little room there. Or Lane out of USC in the 3rd or 4th round if he's there. I would like that pick as well. There's a lot of options for our receiver room. It can be totally upgraded this offseason and quickly too, and cheaply too. You're not going to have to spend $20 million plus for a wide receiver this year. There's guys out there that you can get for a good value and in the draft. It's going to be fun.
It sure is, Mike. There's a lot that's going to go down. Of course, we know next week starts the free agent frenzy. I absolutely can't wait. This weekend can't go fast enough. When do you ever want a weekend to fly by? I'm like, I want this weekend to fly by because there's going to be so much happening next week with the tampering period starting, of course, on Monday at noon. And then after that, Mike, we're going to wait till Wednesday, just 50 some hours later, and then 4 o'clock on Wednesday, it's going to be free agency in the start of the new NFL year, as it does on that date at that particular time every year. Like, I was just trying to find real quick. I'm trying to move forward with the show, but I do want to say this, guys. If you are coming to town, or even if you are in town and you're coming to the if you're coming to the draft or planning on coming to the draft, do be sure to get on. I don't know if I have the information anymore. I'm trying desperately to pull it up, but I may have removed it. You got to get on, and you could get on and register, Mike, to get free is it free registration or free?
It's free registration for the draft, and as long as you have like the stuff that they email you to, you have a chance to get in. It's going to be based on capacity. So you sign up for it, register for it, and get here early, get here often, and get in.
Unfortunately, I don't have that link on me. I thought that I did, but so it's something to think about, guys. Get on, check that out over the weekend if you are coming to town, or again, if you are in town, just planning to make your way down to draft. Get on, register for free for your entry. You can do that now as we're just 48 days away from the NFL draft right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Mike. It's going to be right down at the point. It's going to be on the North Shore. It's going to go right over the bridge, Mike. That number raised. I've been saying 500,000 people. I seen yesterday, Mike, that they're expecting over 700,000 people on the bridge, on the point, and on the North Shore that day. Those 3 days, 700,000, Mike, as it continues to get closer to 1 million people expected down in the Berg. It's going to be something. It's going to be the biggest sporting event ever in the history of Pittsburgh.
It's going to be a hopping fun time. I can't wait to go down there.
going to be interesting, Mike. Let me grab a few more, and we are going to start getting ready as these. We are rounding third. Let me go right here. Let me get caught up. Is what I'm going to do. I don't want anybody to be left out. Mike from Steeler Nation. Let's go to Tortilla. Tortilla says this: beggars can't be Hoosiers. Vanilla. Beggars can't be Hoosiers. Vanilla. That was good. I like that. Let's go to Somber. DK, Dobbs, Kirk, Wandale, Roman. Let's go to rookies of first round. We got that. Somber says it'll either be BTJ or Dobbs or not both. But wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be fantastic
awesome.
if we could freaking yank both of them guys? That would be amazing. And that was all that was. It was just me being wishful, I think. Steel Loyal says, Wandale Robinson helped me win my fantasy football or my fantasy championship. That's awesome. No better reason to want somebody.
Exactly. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I would be rooting for a guy, too, that way.
Tortilla says, sign Willis Dobbs and Bo Melton. Keep the Pittsburgh Packers tradition going. And the Packers or the Cowboys, name one. I mean, either one of those two teams, we have a lot of their coaches, at least at this point. Ty says, I don't think we'll sign one. I think you don't sign one trade for BTG, then draft two. Let's go to Vegas. He says, what do you think about Omar Cooper Jr.? Mike, Omar Cooper Jr.
I want Omar Cooper Jr. on my team. I think he's one of the better receivers in the draft, and I was hoping he would kind of like fly under the radar, but after the combine, teams have been talking about him more and more, that they've been able to sit down and watch all of his tape and stuff. He's rising up the draft boards when I want him falling down the draft board. I think he would be a great pick for the Steelers.
Tyrone agrees with you. He says, Vega, yes, sir. Cooper Jr. is a beast. And Vegas says this. $5 says some drunk dipshit jumps off the bridge trying to be for some ugly chick. Yeah, more than likely. There's going to be a lot of ugly chicks if there's going to be 700,000 people. I'm just saying.
I'm trying not to point to myself. How can I point to you on my screen? I have yet to figure this out after like 6 years of doing this.
That's
He's
wrong.
going to be the one.
The way you're seeing it is pointing at me.
I know, right? Now it's pointing. I kind of got to like point forward. There we go. This guy's going to jump off a bridge for a fetch.
Like go up a little bit, go up, and then over to your left. Mike, why don't you tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got all of our social media links over there if you're new. We got our my dumb thoughts over there. We got draft and NFL articles written by our draft gurus, Chop and RB. So check it out, everyone.
Let me see. I do want to say this, Mike, before we get into the question of the day. Yeah, a couple of things. Yes, do go check out the website, guys. www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool stuff over there. Mike updated the website. A lot of work. And again, yes, the new members, guys, Chop and RB, lots of cool stuff and good articles and things from their minds. Go check it out, guys. www.the2dumyinzers.com. www.the2dumyinzers.com. Finally, Mike, before we do get into trivia, I want to say this. The Pittsburgh Steelers Bermuda Bluegrass. It was asked the other day on the board. I don't remember who asked it. They said, what kind of grass is the Steelers going with on their new turf, their new surface, Mike? It's Bermuda Bluegrass. In case we're still wondering, or in case anybody's wondering, Bermuda Bluegrass is the grass. Let's get into the question of the day, Mike. This is going to be a tight ends question because why not? We have a plethora. Even after what's-her-face gets cut, it still feels like we have a lot of tight ends. So you know what? We're going to go tight ends today. Mike, here is the question of the day. Everybody put on your thinking hats. Mike, put yours on. Here we go. A Steeler never reached the 1,000. Listen, a Steeler tight end, never reached the 1,000 yards in a season plateau. However, multiple tight ends have reached that plateau. Mike, how many times has that happened when multiple Steelers reached 1,000 yards rushing in a season?
Wait. Okay, repeat this whole question.
I'm going to do it all over again. I'm going to do it probably 3 or 4 times to just pull it together, right? Here we go. A Steeler tight end never reached 1,000-yard rushing. And what you tell me to repeat it so your AI can hear me better this time?
No, you said a tight end has never received 1,000 yards rushing.
You want me to? Why would the receiver have 1,000 yards rushing? Listen to me.
Because that's what you said.
That's not what I said. Listen to me.
Yes, it is.
It's not what I said. Listen to me. Are you listening?
Chat, clip that.
Are you listening?
I'm listening.
All right, here we go. A Steeler tight end never reached 1,000 yards rushing in a season. Again, obviously receiving, Mike, is a joke. But they have had multiple tight ends reach 1,000 yards receiving. How many times has that happened? A Steeler tight end never reached 1,000 yards receiving in a season, but they have had multiple tight ends reach 1,000 yards receiving. How many times did that happen? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube.
On the tube.
So basically, Mike, let me say it even in a way that you could explain it.
Receiving yards of
let me say it in a way that you could even understand. You ready?
Yeah.
How many times has multiple tight ends accomplished 1,000 yards rushing combined in a season for the Steelers? For example, Heath Miller never reached 1,000 yards, but there's been times when multiple tight ends have. That's the question. And it's not rushing. Think that over, guys. I'm seeing some different answers on the board here. Let me go ahead and grab a few of these up while we are moving along. I'm just looking for a number of seasons. Like, you look very confused, and I'm trying.
Thank you, Vegas.
How more simple do you want me to put this? I don't understand what the problem is. Let me read it again for you, Mike.
Yes.
A Steeler tight end has never reached 1,000 yards in a season receiving. It's never happened. Okay? Not even Heath Miller.
Okay.
However, it has happened where multiple tight ends have accomplished 1,000 yards in a season. How many times did that happen?
Seven.
What's the thought process? Do you have any thought process?
I'm just throwing it out there because you mean like tight ends have combined for 1,000 yards together on the team.
Yes.
Okay, because you were leaving out the combined part.
No, I said combined ample times, actually, multiple times. But even if that be the case, what other way would you assume that it was? Please explain to me.
I'm not explaining it. I'll go with seven.
I need you to explain to me what you think I could possibly.
Because I'm like, I thought you were legit stroking out over there, but I was worried for a second.
Let me say one more time. Let me see if you understand it again. A Steelers tight end never had. A Steelers tight end never had 1,000 yards receiving in a season.
Yes.
Like Heath Miller never had 1,000 yards.
Heath never had it. Yeah.
Now the second part of the question in text is this: but they have had multiple tight ends reach 1,000 yards combined. It says it right here on my paper. I could show you.
I did.
Listen, I'm
leaving combined off.
Rewind it. I'm pulling it back. I'm pulling the tape. I did say combined at least one of the times. Damn it. Are you going to argue, or are you going to give me your answer on why you select that many? This doesn't need to be this difficult.
I'm going 7 just because we tight ends for the longest time never really were targets in the offense throughout Steeler history. So I think 7's a good number.
7's a good number. I'm seeing on the board, Ty is saying 6. Vegas is saying 9. Tortilla is saying it's a trick question. It never happened. Tyrone originally said 2. He said 2 the original time. Let's see if there's any other guesses. Anybody else throw some guesses up there if you think that you have it. And I think that I did say rushing. I do apologize, but I thought that Mike was a little smarter than that to connect the dots, but apparently I had to read it 4 times.
It's late in the day for me. I apologize.
You want me to read it one more time for
you?
No,
please, God, no.
Vegas says, I'm throwing the red flag. Throw the red flag. I need to see this. Believe me, I want to see this instant replay. I could swear I said combined at least one of the 7 times that I read it to Mike. But so there you go. Mike says 9. Anybody else wants to throw up a guess? Throw it up there. Guys, the question of the day, I will read it one more time just to be clear. A Steeler tight end never reached 1,000 yards receiving in a season, but they have had multiple tight ends that reached 1,000-yard plateau combined. How many times did this happen? Guys, the answer is 2 times. It happened in 1993 and 2018. Multiple times, 2 different times in Steeler history did multiple tight ends combine for 1,000 yards receiving. That's the answer.
2 times. Tyrone was right on his first guess.
He was. He said 2. He nailed it. Then he changed it to 6.
6, yeah.
Vegas said yes, and you did say combined. One of the yes, exactly. So the last time it
One of
still
the
counts.
7 times.
Damn it! Why you weren't able to pick that out of the one of the 8 times, one of the 10 times, one of the 15 times I said it? I don't know. Let's go. Let's say Vegas is saying. Vegas says golf clap. Golf clap for Ty. Mike, let me see if I have something for a golf clap for Ty. I had something, but I don't know where it went. Tortilla says Steelers don't use tight ends. Eric Green was good. Heath Miller was good. We had a handful of guys that were pretty good, but you're right. Maybe they didn't use them guys enough. Mike, for the numbers that they did put up, could you imagine if they would have used Heath more or Eric Green more? It could have certainly been more successful.
They would be up there in all-time rankings.
Mike, before we start getting ready to wrap things up, what's your take on the day, man? Any just everything we talked about, free agency. We have the frenzy coming up next week, of course, tampering Monday. Free agency starts officially on Wednesday. What's your thoughts going into the weekend?
I can't wait for Monday to get here. I hope these Brian Thomas Jr. rumors are true and we are able to work it out, because we were close last year with him. It sounds like we're really damn close here. I just go ahead, pull the trigger. I do agree, though, if they want a second, that might be too high for the amount of needs that we have on the roster. But sometimes you might have to bite the bullet. Go ahead and do it, and then use your first round pick on a position other than wide receiver. Go ahead and get him, and I'm doing what it takes to get Kenneth Walker III as well. You had those two pieces. This offense is looking really good skill position wise.
So let me ask you this: say you bring in BTJ, you bring in Kenneth Walker III, and then you believe you could fix the third, the left half of your offensive line. This is not looking like a bad offense next year, even if you do bring back Aaron Rodgers. Am I correct? And again, you're putting all those pieces in place to maybe get the quarterback that you want the year after. So maybe again, this could be the route that the Steelers go. But again, so much we will learn next week. Again, Monday, the tampering period that starts at noon, which we will be here for the kickoff for tampering, Mike, right here on Monday, and then again on Wednesday at 4:00 that kicks off free agency. So much stuff. I can't wait either. And then that's going to answer questions, Mike, on how we're going to handle the draft just next month. So a lot of things are going to start making more sense coming into view for us next week. Got our coaching staff together, hit free agency, hit the draft. I mean, we're busting through, Mike. Here we are. Going to be mid-March before we know it. It's going to be great. Can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait
either, man.
Let me grab a couple of things here real quick. Tortilla says this, the Jet Heath would have been crazy. Tyrone says, wish my nephew good luck. Let me go right here. Rel, he says, wish my nephew good luck this weekend. Regionals for wrestling to go to state. Rel, good luck, my man.
Yeah, buddy.
Win it all, dude, please. That's going to be awesome. I hope that he does win, Ty. Just Learning says, 0, good luck, nephew. Absolutely. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. You know what? He's going to win. He's going to win. I know he is. What else, Mike? What do we got? We have a few things we want to say before we do wrap things up for the day. I do want to say this. If you're going, we're going into the weekend. Who doesn't like to get their drink on in the weekend? If you're going to get your drink on, stop and get your Duquesne Pilsner, guys. Now available at Giant Eagle in 6 and 12 packs and in cases anywhere you buy your cases. The people at Duquesne Pilsner are awesome. Like they just included us yesterday on some of their most recent promotions. Always thankful to the people at Duquesne Pilsner, Mike. And we always do have Duquesne Pilsner right here in the studio. It's delicious. Made right here in Pittsburgh. And it says on the can, Mike, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Also, with that being said, go check out our social media, guys. We're everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X, everywhere you go, Mike. You could go check us out on social media. Keep up with what's up with the 2 Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. And finally, if you haven't yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the like, the sub, the share, comment, any of them. They all help out in the algorithm, guys. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much. Let me grab a couple more messages as we do get ready to go, Mike, because this weekend I did well keeping up with the board.
You did.
I'm getting back in regular season mode, man. It's never off season at the end of the day.
It's not, man.
When trying to put it all down. Vegas says, yes, you did say one of the 7 times. All right, let's not talk about that anymore. Let's forget that ever happened. The question of the day. Let's check out right here at where Just Learning says this. Good luck. We just finished our state 2 weeks ago. Big Tens are this weekend. Go Penn State. Good luck as well to Just Learning. Also, Tyrone says, I get to coach. I'm hyped. That's awesome, man. That is super awesome, dude. Ian's got this. Ian's got this. Vegas says Derpy is going to sell seats on his belly while he floats on the river. Derpy is going to sell seats on his belly while he floats on the river. I like this. Derpy Island Tortilla is saying, Mike. Derpy. Also, Vegas, that's dope, Ty. Great show. We appreciate that, Tyrone, my man. Thank you so much, Mike. One more time. Anything else before? What do you got going on this weekend?
I don't have a whole lot going on this weekend. You know what I'll be doing? I'll be enjoying some Duquesne Pilsner and my endless supply of liquor that you say I consume. So yeah, that's my big plans for the weekend, and getting some stuff ready for free agency, man. Getting stuff ready for the show to put out a banger. So I can't wait, man.
It's gonna be warm too, so maybe sitting out on the porch and drinking beer.
Oh yeah,
that's always a fun thing to do when it's nice. I do want to say thank you, everybody. I thank you for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We do appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are the lifeblood, man. Thank you so much. I always say that. I always mean that. You are the best. The Terrible Board, Mike, bar none. Nobody better than the Terrible Board. And everybody at home as well, if you're watching, listening, at the job, at the gym, in the car, or maybe you're taking a walk, whatever the case may be, thank you too, guys. You guys are amazing. Again, the reason for being is why we are here, guys. So let me also grab Somber, my man. Thank you, sir. I hope you have a great weekend, brother. Tyrone, have a great weekend. Vegas is not a word about exercise. Nobody is in the exercising mood right now.
Equal reps.
There you go.
Equal reps.
There you go. Mike is on his equal reps. I think that's everything, Mike. Anything I'm forgetting?
I think so too, man. Another banger in the books, boys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again. Cody says I'm amazing, and there's Cody. Cody coming in. Always better late than never, my man. Cody says I'm amazing. Cody, you are amazing, my friend. I hope things go well for you, or well for you in Texas weekend. We hope to see everybody back Monday at our regular time as we get ready to jump into free agent frenzy. Monday. Until then, everybody stay safe. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing everybody on Monday. Vegas says, have a great weekend. Everyone, you too, even Derpy. And Ty says, here we go, guys. Thank you so much. Have a safe weekend. Be good. We'll see everybody back at our regular time to jump head first into free agency Monday. I can't wait, baby. I'm pumped. I'm primed. I know Mike is as well, and I know everybody else on the Terrible Board is, guys. Mike, last time. Speak now, forever hold your peace. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great one. Stay safe. We'll see you on Monday. For Derpy, for Finch, for Chop, for RB, Mike, myself, the two Dum Yinzers. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.